Uh, hey everybody. It's like okay, all right. I think so. I think that's okay. Uh, mm. Anyway. Everybody, we're doing all black everything round table in just a moment. Yeah, stuff happened. Anyway, Trey, we're here. We're trying to make things work out. Ever so slowly, ever so subtly. Okay. Oh, most of our people, as usual, aren't here, but you know, it is what it is. I'm trying our best out here. Just be like that. Alright, so let's move these people over.
He was saying he'll kill any Black Lives Matter and Antifa protester if defund the police were to actually be achieved. He knows I'm very passionate about Black Lives Matter and have always been.
Sorry, what are we
nigga.
listening to? What's happening
I have
here?
no idea, but niggas is hot mic and heavy.
Okay, alright, so we're just gonna. What the fuck?
I have no idea, niggas is hot mic and hard, Joe.
Yeah, man. Like, Okay. How are you?
I am surviving. I'm good.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're able to join us.
I'm good. I just got Wi-Fi set up at the new place. I'm just doing this whole adult thing. This shit is lame. I ain't gonna hold you. All that you should enjoy being a kid shit was real. I regret it. I should have listened.
Put down.
Okay. Yeah, Don, was a lot of. We heard everything you were listening to. So.
What? How? How you guys heard what I was?
Yeah,
like-
heard it all. There's no room for the big man. Like everything. I was like, yo, what the fuck is going on?
Wait, what?
You know, it was just you were hot micing heavy, dog.
Where? Did you all hear me say like, "What up, Prime? How's it going?" Like,
Now we ain't hear none of
Uh-huh.
that shit. You had the wrong audio inputs.
okay,
Had to.
I should be good now. Hopefully, God willing.
Something else I just realized. Oh, I didn't just realize. Like another issue was, I just switched internets. That ended up being a thing. Also, third dumb thing I did. Well, it's not dumb because I would have did it regardless. Well, they didn't make it not dumb. I ended up purchasing Windows, like instead of using the free version, because I noticed on the free version you couldn't update your screensaver, like for the sleep screen, and I like paid like $30 to have a sleep screen, and I don't even use a sleep screen. Like my computer goes in automatic sleep mode instead of a like thing.
All I heard is I got money. This nigga said I put out money for my Windows. I don't know about you.
I've literally never used it. I'm about to say, because I've always just had the free version. I just noticed like, what? Because I was like, oh, I can do everything, but I was like, what? I can't change my screensaver. This is a problem. I had to do it. And then right after doing that, I was like, that was dumb. Like, I'll never see the screensaver. Not even once. You know,
Okay.
but I did that.
Rich nigga problems.
Not at all, brother.
I'm fucking with you, man.
Yeah. I've
was
always gotten the ultimate version of whatever Windows I'm using, like a Windows OS I'm using. Yeah, it fell off the back of a digital truck, and so I would always have all options available to me. So I wouldn't know about that. I didn't even know there was a free version. But yeah. Anyway, yeah, I'm actually really bent out of shape though. My PS5 is busted, and I've said many times before, I use my PS5 for fucking everything. It's center of my entire goddamn day. I use it for everything. And it's busted. I tried to take it to a repair shop today, but literally, the place was closed because a family member died for the repair shop.
Damn.
Man, think of the priorities. I was about to say,
Damn.
your PlayStation seems far more important than any family member.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's unfortunate. So
Busted how?
That shit won't turn on. It just
Lord.
I literally turned my head because I was doing something on my computer here, and then I turned back and it was off, and I tried to turn it back on and it wasn't coming on. At first I thought it overheated, because you got like to blow out the dust for that, and I had already taken care of that, so I know that wasn't it. But then it just like even overheats, it'll turn on like when it cools down. But no, so like it's just like I don't know.
Maybe it'll turn on tomorrow. Sometimes you
Yeah.
got, like,
My
those
homie's
overnight issues.
PS5 just shit itself. I've been seeing that a lot around the community. I'm sorry to hear that, bro, because I know that's a bitch.
Yeah, and
A
so
hard
like.
motherfucker.
Yeah. So I'm gonna take it to a repair shop tomorrow. I really hope they can fix it. Like the reviews, like say, like there was a whole bunch of like Google reviews, and they said this shop is like really good at it, and it fixes it like usually like in 20 minutes or so. Like they just like knock the shit out. But if not, if they can't fix it, then I gotta say it to PlayStation, and that's gonna be gone for a month at least. Yeah. So,
I haven't cut on my PS5 in like 6 months.
and it's gonna cost
Probably
$250. So
That's what I was about to ask. How much they're gonna charge you?
yeah, it's gonna charge me a shit ton.
You might just want to go get it. Well, I don't know. I got my PS5 on Facebook Marketplace for like $300. So I'm like, if you might just want to say fuck it and go get a new one. I ain't gonna
Well,
hold you.
I mean, if I can get this old one fixed for a lot cheaper, then we'll see. But yeah, it's really unfortunate. Really,
I know,
really
my dude.
unfortunate.
I'm sorry to hear that. That definitely is a bitch.
Mm,
Yeah, I definitely hope they get you back on.
yeah.
On a PS5 for $300, that's crazy.
Yeah. You got to remember, bro. It's a lot of motherfuckers. I just called somebody that was done playing video games, and they didn't give a fuck, and they gave that motherfucker up.
I'm trying to think if I would sell mine for that much.
Yo, Bam, I'll buy you a PS5 for $300.
That's what I'm saying. Like if you gotta. So some people, it's just a thing. Like they don't give a fuck. You know.
Mm,
I mean, like I get zero play out of it, but my chances, like, what happens? Like, but it's also nice to have some system. But the thing is, before I got this one, I went like 2 years without any system. So I think that's why, like I thought, like, oh, I want to get back into gaming, and then I just didn't. Like a guy that was like, oh, I didn't really do that. I played like Call of Duty heavy for like maybe a month or two, and then I played some Madden and 2K, and then I was like, I don't know.
I think if you have a PC, especially if you talk about like the nigga big three, a lot of those are crossplay now. So it's like, I don't know, bro. You might just want to go get a PC and call it a.
I mean, I have a PC, but I'm definitely a what you call it gamer.
console.
Not a PC gamer. Yeah, I'm a console gamer.
Mm.
I guess
Theoretically.
I'm theoretically. Yeah, I guess I'm not actually a gamer at all. But if I was, I preferred having the physical console.
Buying the PC port of like those games for way cheaper and then just playing crossplay with the homies. That's an underrated strat. I wish I would have did, but I bought a PS5 by the time that came out. So
I'm an actual like console player, so like so like, no, I mean no. Sorry,
I know what
that
you're saying.
wasn't
I'm just
like a dig.
I know,
Yeah. So, but like like I actually like get
Didn't
like
even catch
PS5
that.
exclusives and stuff. Like I for instance, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which is the second part of the remake, it's coming out. And I told you guys, actually, I told you guys the last time you were here. So this is like I bought that shit like immediately.
oh
Yeah, and that's coming out. That's coming out in like 2 weeks, and if it's I might not have my PS5 at that point.
I'm telling you, bro. When you think about it, worst comes to worst, I'm dead ass. I don't know how you feel about doing that, but bro, you can go get you a PS5 for $300. If they charging $250, I'm somebody's willing to get that motherfucker away. Bam, you got eBay, right? You know how to put that shit up, right?
Maybe. Oh crap! Something. Not to be rude and move the topic.
That's fine. Whatever.
But y'all should absolutely watch the new Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
I've been meaning to.
Donald Glover.
Yeah,
I just saw a clip of it.
it's really good. It's a good show. But I guess because Donald Glover's involved and he's just super talented. Everything he does is like gold. But
Damn,
yeah.
Bam. Wait, my nigga.
What?
No, I'm saying I'm a big fan as well.
Oh really? Yeah, that's good. That means you guys
You
might
like
have good
Community?
taste.
You like Community?
Community was his early stuff, but it was still fine for what it was. I feel like he really came into his own once he
Atlanta.
kind of accepted that he was black.
Oh, yeah, he got low key though.
That's the
Yeah.
funniest way to put it. Yeah,
And-
he was
and-
like, I'm a nigga. And from there, he shined. He lost
Yeah,
Honestly, no, all jokes aside, like legit. Like he's way too old, but he's also like if they did, which they're, I mean, the Miles Morales Spider-Man is so popular that he's gonna get a live action. I'm not against him being in consideration, even though I know they're supposed to be like a teenage kid, 100%.
they
I
wanted.
don't know.
For the
I think I don't fucking know. I don't think he'll be put in, but I think he'll get another cameo. I think that's probably as far as that'll go.
They've been talking about him as the Prowler.
Yeah,
He voiced it in the
Mhm.
Bro, he been doing the Spider-Man shits in Community. That's where he was doing it back then. He been
All
trying-
right. What's up, guys?
Hola.
you disrespectful.
Hey.
You just came in just decided
Yeah,
what
bro.
we talking about.
Yep. That's exactly what I did. Fuck
How are you?
fuck D2O Dream. I'm good, man. I'm fantastic.
Look at this.
Hey,
What
I
do
have
you-
a
what
question
do you-
for y'all.
Oh, one
Go ahead.
second. Champloo, what are you doing? What's his head bobbing?
I feel like he's
Such a
drawing.
long dick.
I'm sorry, I was doing a little sketching.
Yep.
I mean, it's
knew it.
fine. It's fine. I just I was
Okay.
just curious as to what you were doing. It's fine. I mean, you can do what you want. I was just curious. Go ahead, Dream.
Yeah, I have a question for you guys. Are you guys a little bit skeptical of mid-30s woman complaining about not finding a quality man? Because in my eyes, it was never a problem for me to find a quality woman. And I feel like that's because I'm a quality man. So
Whenever
if you're a
people
quality
in their
woman,
30s
you should be able to have quality men flock at you. And so if you're complaining, hey, I'm not finding a quality man, to me, it's like, it's suspicious because you're telling us it's because you're successful, but it might be your attitude.
Can you put a name on this bullet?
No, I saw a TikTok, but I see this trend or pattern amongst a lot of women. So
I think if you're 30 and still complaining about your relationships, platonic or romantic, that's a red flag. I think you should know your social skills by then, but that's just me. What do I know? I'm 22.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that dating is hard for women for a way that men can't understand. Like is that the issue is actually the number of options with dating. Like makes it where, and it's not like, oh, what's that they're complaining about. It's the fact that like a lot of people that try to talk to you, like try to talk to women, have like illegitimate and like have bad intentions. And we also live in an age where it's seen as like rude or disrespectful for a woman to date multiple people, to like really sort through those types of things. So a woman, basically if a woman puts herself in the mindset of like she's ready to date whoever the first guy is that talks to her, she's basically going to isolate herself, like commit herself to this person until proven otherwise. And because of that, like you can have a lot of experiences with like negative people that can make it like harder to sort through and get to the.
So basically, you're saying they
Switching person.
should switch up the dating strategy to be more successful.
Well, I mean, not just a strategy. Like it's not part of just a strategy. Society has to be more accepting of it. Like you have to be okay with like, because up in 80s, 90s, like they always there was dating, and then there was going steady. That was like the difference between like, casual and relationships. And people used to be able to date, like, and it was like you didn't have to hide it. It wasn't secretive. It was like, oh, like even within like a school setting, you could go on dates with like 3-4 different people, and nobody thought much of it. It's like, oh, okay, you're dating, and then like were actually able to figure out what you like through that, and go steady. But now, if a girl is openly dating 2+ people, now she's a hoe. And
should you be giving a fuck about what other people think at 30 years old, my nigga? Like you're still worried about.
I don't even.
If you're in a monogamous relationship, why are you bouncing around now? If you're just
see what I'm saying? Now he's
if you're just
this nigga doesn't even understand the question. That's why.
If you're just courting, trying to find a potential mate, that's different. But
exactly.
If you like when you started off, Bam, you said she's going to focus on this one person. that's different. I mean, if she's going to focus on this one person, yeah, there should be a problem with that. Unless she's non-monogamous, then go for the polygamous relationship.
No,
Yeah,
no,
I'm talking
no.
about the courting phase. That's what I'm saying. Like people
Yeah,
think
he's-
that we don't do courting anymore.
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
That's the problem. There is no courting anymore. I think
Okay.
What does that
Right.
even mean?
courting is essentially what people have used for relationships nowadays. Like if you've been with somebody for like 2 years, people will say that you've been courting, but when in reality, a courtship is like you're getting to know somebody for a number of years before you even decide to take them on a date. That's pretty much what courtship
Yeah,
is.
I
Nobody
feel like-
does courtship anymore.
I don't
Why
think
would
you ever
you-
go that extreme?
Yeah, I was
here
gonna
it's
say,
kinda
why-
nuts, but I get the concept.
Hold on, but
Dream?
Yeah, question.
Dream?
that is not me.
You were talking,
Well,
and then you
yeah,
stopped
you were
talking.
talking. Yeah.
Oh wait, hold on. I am so sorry. I heard an echo, and I thought you guys were talking about that.
Oh, I didn't hear an echo.
No, that was
Sorry.
me. It was on my computer.
That's
My bad.
hilarious.
Okay.
Well, as I was saying, I think it's a waste of time if you define courting as getting to know somebody for years. It's a waste of time because I think you should be doing vetting instead, and vetting takes much shorter times. And it's like asking serious questions very early on to see whether or not somebody's a match for you, right? So like, how many kids you want? How do you want to raise the kids? What religion are you? Are you okay with me being this or that? What kind of parenting style?
Yeah, I understand the concept, and I think
Stuff like that, like very hard questions that you should ask very early on, and that kind of stuff, like I think would get rid of a lot of time wasting
I don't-
for a lot of women dating.
I don't think that's much of the issue. I mean, women ask those questions because they're on a time clock that they want to raise a family or not. But you know,
Huh?
a woman comes to me and the first question that comes out of her mouth is how many kids you want. That's our last conversation, because it's something that you work up to. I mean, nowadays,
thing?
yeah, there's a person.
Nah, no, I'm not saying
It
it could be the third.
I haven't had that conversation with women I hadn't went on a date yet with, like
But,
through
you know,
apps.
like nowadays it's got to the point where conversations that used to take months, sometimes years to reach into a conversation, now you're expecting this conversation to be had within the first 2 weeks of day of
But
dating.
why would a
Like,
woman
yeah.
want to waste their time
I also
to ask a
disagree.
Why would anybody want
hold
to
on.
waste their time?
Brother, I'm not even done with the question.
I was
So what-
talking and you interrupted me while I was talking.
Well,
But-
you interrupted me talking to talk to you. Now I'm interrupting you back.
I don't
Interrupt.
think people used to court that long. That was the long and short of it. Like you say that like people used to go years. I think actually, if you go back in the day, people used to get married after like 6 months, like or shorter.
the
Once they
most.
decided they like we want to have sex now, because there's a difference between like now we seek to find better matches, we seek to find like better partners, like who is a better fit for us, and before it seems that you date whoever you kind of like and. Like you're supposed to grow in marriage, like you're supposed to grow into a relationship that works.
Because back then, courtship was more. You weren't just courting the person you were dating; you were courting the whole family. Because it was really marriage is just about unifying the family and how it's going to benefit everything.
I'm going like mid
I-
1800s.
Yeah, I don't want to do it like
PC.
let's not talk about this like history lesson. Like, but
Yeah,
I
I
want to
don't
like
even understand
I wanted to
it.
hear what D1O Dream was talking about. Dream, because at first I was agreeing with what Bam was saying, but then I diverged. But Dream, the woman that you're talking about, okay, now I did hear.
30-year-old.
Yeah, the 30-year-old, yeah. Okay, now I am hearing.
I hear it too.
I don't know where that's from. Is that
Hello?
DeAndre?
Testing.
Sounds good.
It stopped.
It sounds
But I don't know
Okay.
what that was.
All right, yeah, I don't
Okay.
know. That was weird. All right, so
that-
but
Was
I
it that
don't-
me?
I don't think so. I don't know. We'll see. I'll try to keep an eye on it.
It'll be
It's
back.
King. It's King Otis.
Oh
It's Zeus. DeAndre, it's you. Mute yourself.
no, is it or is it DQ?
No, it's
I think
Oh,
DQ.
it's DQ. It's DQ. We just found out it's DQ.
Yeah, it's DQ.
Oh,
you
it's
got
the big queen. I didn't even know she was here.
yeah DQ. If you can hear us, like mess with your audio. I'll unmute you in a bit. 30. Dream. Oh, okay, now I lost him.
I can
I can hear you. I can hear you, bro.
Okay. My question was like, what was the race of this woman?
She's black.
Okay, she's black. Yeah. So where I diverged with Bam, like I like what he said is that women are facing all kinds of pressures that like men maybe don't understand, right? Like I that part I get him, but and he focuses on this like idea of women can't like well in his term court or like date around before going steady with a person. I don't know. I think women can actually still do that. I don't know. Like I think yeah, like once you are in a committed relationship, things change obviously. But like I think women actually do have the ability to like have a bunch of options available. But that's my opinion. Maybe other people see it differently.
Can I
But
ask
the-
you
the-
I
hold
say
on,
there's a
hold
social
on.
stigma.
I'm not done. Yeah. So let me just finish. Where I do think the issue is that, especially for black women, is that like they have, if she's like college educated, which a lot of black women are, like they don't have a lot of educated black men I mean, like it's not like they don't have like men around, right? If she's anywhere near attractive, then she's gonna have men coming at her. But looking for a man who is college educated, has a job with an acceptable income level. I'm not talking about like those women who are like, you know, 6-figure plus, like 6-figure plus 6 foot, you know, like I'm not talking about those types. If she's one of those types, then fuck her, right? But like just, you know, a college degree with, you know, a respectable amount of income, just to get her started within the black community, it's actually difficult for them to find these things, right? And when you're 30, right? Like, yeah, it's actually so against what Solis is saying. I think it gives you more reason to complain at 30 because women are concerned about like having children, right? They look at the age 35, and they shouldn't do this really, but they look at it as like an oncoming wall of like infertility. It's not exactly what that is, but still, it's like a thing that's on their mind. And when you're just getting older, your options like start to dwindle, and they dwindle a lot faster for women than they do for men. So all those things combined, yeah, like actually, I don't think it's unreasonable for a woman that age to be complaining. So,
No, I'm
there you go.
saying
I don't think it dwindles faster for women than it does for men. I mean,
Let me respond.
like to Bam's comment, women get men all day, especially like you said, if they're even remotely good looking, their options are numerous for a long period of time.
Yeah, but like
Yeah.
quality long term.
Yeah, but what
like
I said-
men hit them up. Yeah.
Yeah, yes, I acknowledge that. Yeah, so like they'll have suitors coming their way, but acceptable suitors is what they're looking for, and like your Bam said, quality, and with the specifications that I gave earlier, you know, that's different.
So it's
Hold on.
hard to-
Yo,
My issue-
Bam,
my-
hold on. Let me ask Bam a question real quick.
Jesus Christ.
Bam, to what you were saying about how it's more, you know, that it still needs to be, we need to make it socially acceptable for women to basically date multiple partners so that they can have a better vetting process, right?
Mm.
Do you think that opinion, were you talking about like men or women, or were you talking about just like in general?
I think both. I think men and women shame it. If like
But do you think it's different for like different reasons or like anything like that, or is it just
like the reason behind it, now it probably comes from the same place of like oh, she's a slut, she's a whore, like blah blah blah, like that
Yeah.
all like that whole element probably goes into it of like, oh, you met a guy, you've had 2 good conversations with him, like if he hasn't gave off the hugest red flag in the world, like you now have some obligation to like commit yourself to this person, and if you don't like and if you do like dare to speak to somebody else, it's like, what are you doing? And the other reason is I think women do it is because they have an expectation they also want the man to do it. So they're like, I don't want to date other people because I don't want you to date other people. So
That's
we'll
better.
be
Yeah, I think
solo
that's
together.
I think that's more of the reality.
that makes sense. That makes sense to me. Yeah.
I think
But
those
I don't think men shame women more than women shame women. I think like not even on the same level. I think women probably shame each other more than a man does.
Women shame
Or-
everybody more than men.
If a girl you was talking to or a girl you took on a date and spent some money on, if you've seen her out with somebody else,
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, I'm doing the same thing. She doing what I'm doing. Go
I
ahead,
don't think
more
that. I
power
don't
to
think
her.
that's what. I don't think that's how an average man would react. I think the
I
average
just-
man would be really.
I didn't say
upset.
average. I
I
never
think
said
that's
average.
like a 45, 55% split. I
Yeah,
think
exactly.
most men would be like, yo, I don't have a right. That's not mine. Like if you, I would think 45%. A good chunk of men understand. Like if we're not together, you can date other people. If I liked it, I would have put a ring on it. Black ass mom. Shout out to Beyonce.
Yeah, like I think from a man's perspective, there are more men that are willing to be like, hey, yo, you're not mine, so who am I to tell you what to do? If we're not in an exclusive relationship, I can't tell you how to act. So go ahead and do what you got to do. I'm doing the same thing on my end. I think there's more men that's doing that's saying that and believe that, than there are women that say,
I
hey,
would
look,
agree with that.
then there are women that say the opposite, right? So that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying the average man thinks. I'm just saying in terms of numbers wise, I think the bulk of the shaming comes from the woman's side.
Shaming women for sleeping around?
Yeah, shaming
Not
women
sleeping around,
each other.
but having multiple partners. I mean, they don't necessarily have to be sleeping with each other.
Yeah.
But dating. I won't even say dating, but talking to multiple people at one time.
But here's my concern. Here's my concern. Like I think it's a multi-pronged problem that has multiple solutions, and I think the problem that this woman has could have been solved if she was just looking for a man earlier in her life, because she had this presupposition or assumption.
Has Dream gone full red pill? Oh my god!
Exactly what's about to
Is
happen.
this the arc?
Soulless beat me to it. But go ahead. No, let's let Dream finish his point.
You can call it red pill. It's just facts. What I'm trying to say is, if you wait until 33 to find your mate, you're gonna have what?
Well, Dream. Were they waiting till 33? Were they?
I've never done a woman that wasn't interested in dating or like 17.
That's what I'm just going off what she said, guys. I'm only going off what she said.
Okay, maybe this specific person. Go ahead.
Right, and even if she didn't, here's what I'm trying to say. That if you waited until 33 because she said she prioritized her career first, and that now she's making hella money, she pays for her own things, she has her own place, she solo travels yearly. And yeah, I'm good for her. But the problem I have is I don't think she couldn't have done that while also looking for a partner. Right.
But that's difficult though, right? Like we can agree.
It's difficult for both men and women to do that.
Of course,
like as human beings, we can acknowledge that's a hard thing.
Of course it's difficult, but I do think that
ain't nothing cost me more than my girl.
But I do think that people don't have foresight about what they want. It's really hard. And then, like, the consequences of your actions is the consequences of your actions. Feel me? Like, what I'm trying to say is, I know I want a relationship. I know I want a career. So I'm pursuing them both at the same time equally.
I think people have a difficulty with accountability, period. And that's just something human beings struggle with, men or women. And the more permanent that accountability may seem, the harder it is to deal with. But I also would say that, to touch on something you said, I think anyone who says any form of the sentence, it's hard to date because I'm successful, it's a red flag. That is huge.
Exactly.
That is
exactly what I'm trying to say. Exactly what I'm trying to say.
I get so many bitches, I just can't,
exactly what I'm
dick's
trying
so
to
big,
say.
I can't
Again,
fucking
it's different when you're appealing to women, specifically because there's a stigma. Like, again, women have the stigma as well. Like, they absolutely take some blame and accountability in this, but there's a significant number of men. I guess I can't say majority or not. Significant number of men who have an issue with women making more money than them, and having a level of stability that they don't.
But do you think a quality man cares about that? Do you think a quality man cares about that? That's my question.
Well, again, this comes down to our personal interpretation of what we consider quality. But I think a lot of men, even men,
personality-wise.
Yeah, I think that I know a lot of men like that who would still say that, like, yeah, my desire in a relationship is to be a breadwinner.
I mean,
he's a sexist quality man.
I agree with that nation.
Like, that's a contradiction to me.
I think that the problem that most men have is, it's how some women in those positions come off. Like Dream hit the head earlier on. It's the attitude, I feel, that turns some men off to that type of woman.
Yeah, and I also would say, like,
because
if
men
you-
want her to be men want those women to come off as like they want to men have a desire to feel needed. I'm a man, I feel the exact same thing. And if a woman I disappeared. If a woman doesn't
They got him.
yeah, if a woman doesn't necessarily need you in that way, it can like I don't even know if it's an attitude thing. It can like it's just
Sounds
part
like
of a
sexist
reality.
problem. It's a
May I,
sexist
may
problem.
I may I like contribute a different perspective on this? I don't think it's necessarily that niggas need to be needed. I've just noticed in my lifetime with not even just women, just a lot of people I met that have like touched a lot of money, they turn into like I don't know, it's like a reverse bitch ass nigga. Like it's like they do something I call reverse pocket watching, right? Like when they were close to you in any kind of tax bracket, when they were in your same social circle, it was all fun and dandy. Y'all were friends, y'all were dating, wherever it was. But as they started to move forward in life, focus on their careers, get a college, get a master's degree, whatever it was, like your $40,000 a year, working full time, just regular shit is different now. Right? Like they want you to be where they're at, or they want you to like somewhat match their ambition. It's not okay anymore. And I think that if long as you don't come off like that, as long as you don't look down on others who may have a smaller, financial pool than you, I don't think anyone gives a fuck. But a lot of people, when they touch that money, I would say women, especially even if they're like hardworking and determined, they do that. They look down on motherfuckers that don't have what they have, especially men. In this world and society we live in, if you live working hard and you feel like you're in a world where men are supposed to have more, I think a lot of women are prone to look down on men who don't have what they have financially.
There's probably
Yeah,
a lifestyle
that's
change with there's probably a big lifestyle change with money that happens. Like there once as a woman hits like that, we're not even talking about like wealthy. When you get into like upper middle class, that's when especially for women, it seems typically the things they like to do, like, oh, okay, I'm gonna take more brunch dates, like with friends. I'm gonna take more trips, maybe to city. I'm gonna vacation and going out the country. I'm doing these things, and it can feel uncomfortable to date someone who doesn't like, not even just financially, like maybe they have a desire, but maybe they can't take that time off because they work a more middling job. Like, oh, I can't do these types of things, and then like. There's some women that are even okay with that and they're willing to provide that, like, oh, okay, babe, I'll just pay for the ticket. But then there's men who have an ego related to that thing that's like, ooh, I don't think I want to do that. I don't want my woman to.
This is what I'm trying to tell you, Bam, is that I don't think
you just consider those not good men.
No, I don't think any woman or man that is sexist a quality person.
I don't know if it's.
I will entertain.
sexist.
I want to
Yeah.
entertain what Bam said. I do think that there are machismo, macho men who have a desire and need to make more money than the women that they date. But in my heart of hearts, I don't think that those men and the one time of women we're talking about will ever even cross paths. Like they're juxtaposed. There's not many times I've seen in my life where those two things do exist, and I know guys like that, and I know women like that, but they don't. They literally, it's something that never gets off the ground.
You think it's rare? You think it's like a rare thing for a man to desire to make more money than women? You think that?
No,
That's like
but
outlier?
for that man, no, I'm saying for that man
all.
to get anywhere with that woman, shit not getting off the ground after the
I
first
don't know
date.
about
bro.
that part. I don't know
That
about
shit's
that part.
not going far, bro. I'm telling you.
I'm not sure
The
about
reason,
that.
but the reason why is because that kind of woman also wants to be bossy, or not bossy, but like have a lot. What's the word I'm trying to say? She is trying to have a lot of input in the relationship, and the man that tends to be that kind wants to have like more input than the woman. So like, you understand what I'm trying to say? So that's why those women,
One wants to wear the pants over the other type shit.
yeah, like they both want to wear maximum amount of pants, but there's only so many pants that you can wear.
I don't know about any of that.
We don't know. We're just speculating here. But what I want to counter to you,
Prime was making
Goddamn, wait, let Prime say something. Goddamn.
because I think we're gonna get away from what he's trying to say. That's the only reason I say that.
Yeah. It's just so this idea of it being necessarily sexist. Like I get like the idea.
You don't
of
think
like
you don't think it's not sexist?
I like I'm saying I get where you're coming from. With that, right? That there is these notions that people will have that aren't lining up with equality, right, or equity, right? Like, but I don't know if these people are the ones that internalize it the same way and externalize it the same way, right? Like there are sexist men out there who like look down on women, who treat them badly and all that, right? But this specific thing, this specific cultural artifact that we're talking about of men being the provider is like deeply baked in. And you can be a person who's otherwise like super leftist, super progressive, right? And then feel like a failure of a man because you're not making more money than your woman and like providing for her, right? And it's not. And again, you can analyze that separately. And so I hear you, Dream, right? You can analyze that separately. You can isolate that and say, well, this idea is sexist. It shouldn't matter who's making more money or anything like that. But it does to them culturally. You know what I'm saying?
Wait,
Yeah,
Prime,
but
stay right
hold on,
there. Wait, Prime, stay right there. So I would say to you, everything you said I agree with, but I think the women we're talking about grow up in that same society.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
That's what, if you grow up, right, and even if you're the most successful, you're a super bitch. You're Wonder Woman came out of somebody's vagina. Right? You're the greatest woman on earth. You're the most ambitious, whatever, right? You still grew up in a society where it was expected that men are supposed to provide for you.
Exactly.
And I think that leads to what we're talking about, where like a lot of women, whether they know better or not, just the same way that men might feel the way, like they look down on men who do not have what they have.
Exactly.
It's in them. Like that's what they were bred to think.
And what I'm trying to say is that anybody that thinks if you are born a certain gender or sex, you have to make more or less money than me is sexist. And if you put that thought and harm yourself or think lowly of yourself, you're just a self-hating sexist person.
I mean, yeah,
Well,
but
even
it's
if
not.
we accept that as his value, if you
you-
subtract all of those people from the dating pool, I think like now it comes back to really easy to accept why it's hard to date. If you would agree that like none of those are worthy quality people to you, then there's very few people left to date.
But I do think that quality people go towards quality people.
Okay.
How does a quality person find another quality person, even in your paradigm? Like,
What do you mean?
like
How? You just
because
search until you find it.
you just search until you find. Okay, all right. So like what Bam. Let's take what Bam was saying previously, right? A woman going through, right, courting these individual men, and she finds one who she thinks is okay, and then she dates them for a certain amount of time, and then it falls apart, right? And then she tries another one, dates them, and to be acknowledged that
Why would it fall apart?
because for all why do
It just don't
relationships
work
fall
out.
apart? For all kinds of reasons.
Let's say, wait. Can I give an
Well,
example?
don't have to be a good
No.
fit.
For the sake of it, I can give an example. I can give an
Well,
example.
we don't
Like
need
let's say there was a guy who it was the perfect dude you just described. In his head, he thought that he could handle dating a woman that makes more money than him. He's an egalitarian. That's in his heart. In theory, he intellectually desires that. But then he actually has to execute it and starts dating a woman who doesn't make more than him. And in actuality, in actual practice, can't do it. Relationship falls apart.
Right. That seems like somebody who talks the talk and doesn't walk the walk.
No, but I'm saying I'm saying two quality people, quote unquote, like they fit all the things. That doesn't give you chemistry. That doesn't mean that the relationship's gonna work out. You can decide like,
obviously.
oh, we're not a good fit. So that's all Prime was describing. You were saying why the relationship failed. You said the relationship just failed.
Well,
Like,
that's not gonna go past the first date though. If you don't have chemistry.
Yeah,
Well,
sure.
people don't have
Whatever. I don't know if that's necessarily true either.
Hold on,
You've been with a second date with a bitch you don't have chemistry with?
There's
No,
like
no, no.
multiple
baseline.
times.
I'm serious.
but
Y'all
it does-
niggas can't tell.
It doesn't even matter. Hold on. Wait. Hey, we can accept that. D100. We can just accept. Yes, if you have chemistry, it doesn't go past the first date. But people can have like enough chemistry or whatever it is, right, to go past the first date. But then the relationship falls apart for any particular reason, right? There's a whole list of ways.
I mean,
relationships
yeah,
fall
you can
apart.
find
but
out the
beyond
person
that,
is
but even
not what you
beyond
want,
that,
yeah.
right? The larger point I was making is finding those quality individuals, right? So however you define that, right? Like actually finding those people, you're saying like they kind of just like attract to each other, but that's not how like dating works. Period for anyone ever, right? Like
I mean,
you have to you have
don't know
to
about
filter through a lot of people.
I mean, that's true
who-
too. Yes.
Yeah. Who it just takes. It's like a time. It's a time consuming process to do
Right,
such a
but-
thing. And it could
so
be emotional
I th-
process, could be expensive process. Hold on, I'm almost done. Sorry. Emotional process, expensive process, and you can along the way meet people you think you're going to connect with, and then that relationship can sprout, and that can last for a long time. And it looks like it going somewhere to maybe to both parties, but then it falls apart, and then this process
back over.
continues. and then all of a sudden you're 33, right? Looking down the barrel of, again, 35, the big 35, and now you're scared. So like that can happen easily. But go ahead.
Yes. I mean, the real answer, I mean, and a boring answer is that every relationship is just luck, right? So you just got like
there's work involved. I mean,
this
look,
it's at the minimum. It's luck in terms of like damn near everything's luck. Like, you know what I'm
I
saying?
mean, to
Like,
some degree. I mean,
damn near everything's luck, and finding some
I agree
being
with
at the
Dream.
right
This is
being at the right
boring
place.
answer.
Being at the right place at the right time, just so happen and find a person that like I got lucky with my current girlfriend. I always say that I'm like, damn, I got lucky because I just got off my previous relationship, and what are the chances I get along with the next girl that I'm with so well this much that I want to make her my girlfriend? That's luck to have back to back quality
I can
women that I
see
find.
I can see that being luck, but I also think that luck can be manipulated.
Right. So
Yeah, you can increase your odds.
environment in which people that you want to meet. Like if you're into a certain job, you're into a certain culture, you're into a certain thing, you're going to interact with people that have more in common with you than you would not, and that changes your odds of finding the right person for you all the time.
right.
And in many cases, some of these people who are not finding the person that they're looking for, they're going to singles bars, and singles bars aren't the type of people that they're looking for, because if outside of the bar life, what are you doing on your day-to-day life? And you go meet somebody at a singles bar, and you hit it off. You had a couple of drinks. Everybody's funnier when they're drunk. Everybody's more understanding when they're drunk. Everybody seems like they're much more compatible or open. But then when you start to talk to each other after that, and you start to spend time with each other, you wind up finding out that you don't have that much in common, or it's just not the connection. So I think a lot of these people, women particularly, find themselves in this situation, but men are in the same boat nowadays too. It's just the dating game has changed, and people who are a bit older than our sector haven't caught up to it yet.
Mhm. The other thing I would give women grace on, I assume we're going to start at 9, but the other thing I would give women grace on is the kind of goes to the arguments we were having related to the other thing. At the end of the day, women can date, women can, like put themselves in positions to be prepared for marriage, all of these things. But in the culture and society we live in, men propose, men do the proposing. So like, even if a woman is like really
That's down the
ready
line,
for
though.
marriage with a person, like if that man doesn't end up proposing, then she's in a longer term relationship that didn't work out. My brother, it was an effed up thing he did. My brother dated his last girlfriend for 7 years.
Damn.
She was a long term girlfriend. She gave him an ultimatum, like she kind of hit the point, like, what are we gonna do? He then made a proposal. Then he like took it back 2 weeks later. And at that point, she was like,
Damn, God.
that was at that point. She was 32. She had been in a 7-year relationship, loyal, longing, whatever,
Yeah.
doing all these things. Thought she was doing the right work, and now she had to start dating again at 32 and figuring out like
It's
what
That
right.
she
happens.
wanted.
Yeah, that's the luck part.
Yeah,
But
that
I
I
also,
think.
but why the fuck did he take it back?
I guess he. I mean,
Wasn't ready.
probably the reason. Yeah, he said he wasn't ready. The reality
Send it
is,
down
I
that
don't think he
barrel.
wanted. I don't think they were meant to be married, but he, I guess, just enjoyed being in a relationship.
Yeah. Time
like,
wasters. Fuck.
As a man, like, does anyone in here, I'm curious, ever like have a fear that, like, does anyone in here that wants to get married, let me say that, have a fear that they couldn't, like, ever?
Get
I
married?
mean, I'm confident in my ability to get a woman, so no.
Man.
Yeah, really? So you think there's a possibility?
Oh wait,
don't?
you mean in that way? You mean like, do you feel that one day the dating pool is gonna drop for you and you're gonna be washed up and out the league? That type of shit?
Yeah, to me, I believe that men get married when they want to. I think that, like, because it's not about, like,
Of course.
it's an unfortunate reality, but it's like for men, I don't think it's will I get married. It's more of when do I want to. Like,
Yeah, of course.
like whoever, because and that's probably why our divorce rate is so high. But typically, a lot of niggas will hit the age where they decide like, oh, I got this and this going on. I guess I should probably be looking for something more long term. And whoever the next girlfriend they get happens to be, regardless of whether she was the best girlfriend she ever had or not, that's who they end up being with. Because like a man just decided, all right, it's time for that.
I
Versus
think
like even if they meet a great woman, if they in like I'm in these streets phase, it doesn't matter. That woman can't.
I was
do
just
anything
gonna
good
say
enough
that.
to change his
That's
mind.
that second part is like a different argument because that's how it worked with me. Like I was in the streets until I felt like, you know what, I'm bored of the streets. Let me be in a home. And so that's when I started looking for a real relationship, long-term marriage. And then as soon as I wanted that, I got it like 2 weeks later. Because
No,
all I had to do is, of the women that's around me that I'm dealing with right now, which one do I seriously see myself marrying? And then I picked that one, and then we had a 4-year relationship. And then that broke off, and then I asked myself, okay, well, who's the next one?
I think we have a story in common. Like I said, and it maybe it's not the best thing, and like it probably doesn't control for the absolute most ideal relationships. But I think that's how a lot of men think of dating. Like we get married when we marry whoever we happen to be dating when we're ready to be married. But I don't think women do that. I think women at like 18 decide they're like oh, you know, every relationship, this is going to be the one. I hope it goes well, and they have no real say so.
I agree with portions of that, but I don't agree with the idea. Of course we get married when we want to. Women get married when they want to, but they're a little bit more pressed for time because the older they get, the less likely they are to make a family if they want to make a family. But I mean, to say that we marry the next person we run off that we meet. I mean, could be anything. I mean, that takes away from women's ability to actually participate in making that decision, which when they do have all the power in making that decision.
I don't know if women do have power in making a man marry them. Not really.
Women don't. No. I've begged my previous girlfriend and my current girlfriend. I was like, please, you guys can propose to me. I'm okay with that. They're like, no. I would never. I would rather.
But I say their friends, their mother, like everyone they ever look at would look at them like they were crazy if they did something like that. There's a
but that's the problem. I don't consider my family's opinion. I don't know why that's a problem for women, but like I don't.
You wouldn't do something you consider embarrassing. Like, yeah, because you don't consider it embarrassing. But if you consider it embarrassing, you wouldn't do it.
Of course, if I don't think something's embarrassing, but I'm talking about the reason they think it's embarrassing is because their family thinks it's embarrassing. Anything my family thinks is embarrassing, I don't care because I don't think it's embarrassing.
But social pressure is social pressure, right? Like,
right?
But we grown adults though.
But nigga, I get it from a sociological point of view that we're making studies, social pressure. But we have to hold individuals accountable at some point as well. At what point do you do that?
Isn't the ultimatum like another form of a proposal?
It is. Damn near.
It doesn't work out. It doesn't necessarily work out.
It's the coward's proposal. It's the coward's proposal. The ultimatum.
Stick up, my nigga.
It gives her the power to get the answer that she wants. Either she gets a yes or she gets a no. The no is he doesn't propose, and they separate. So she has power in that regard. But women, like men, because we don't have to make a family. We don't have to bear children. It's not an urgency for us to do any of that because we can be dating somebody like your brother did for 7 years, but like everything is good. Things are fine the way they are. There's no reason to get more paperwork involved and ruin everything. Women are like hey, we've been together so long. Why don't I have something on my finger that solidifies this? Why don't we have this stuff where I can go and tell somebody that this is my last name, blah blah blah. It's different for men. We're just like, it's those memes all over again. I know you guys have seen them where they post on there. Women are always like, oh, men, you can just be happy with anything, and it's a picture of a TV on the ground, a video game connected to it.
Yep.
Like, it doesn't take very much. Like this is fine. For women, they're like, oh, it's fine, but we could do more. And then you move a woman to your house, and next thing you know, you've got all types of pictures on the walls that you would never have put on top of the wall because you're like, what do I need to decorate for? I have everything that I need in front of me.
Yeah.
I think we do ourselves a disservice when we think of ourselves that way, man. honestly.
I was fuck. I think I more or less was agreeing with Bam, except for when he said like he talked about women like when they hit like 18, they're looking for marriage. I mean, I think like among a smaller sect of women, sure that's the case, but I think for many women, they just want to date around as well. They want to have fun. They want to like look into their careers. Maybe not like
Especially
necessarily
now.
being a career woman,
The num-
but just
the
that
numbers
like
say most
they
people
have
don't
lots
find
of
that guy till
different
25.
priorities on their mind, not necessarily like getting married immediately. But
Well,
but even
not me. I mean, I mean committed relationships. It seems like from a young age, women like are still like, oh, like I talk to a guy, I like him. Will he be my boyfriend? Will we be
But
committed?
I think
Like
that
women
might be
want to be
changing.
young.
That
But-
might be changing, man. Before, and here's why. Because I'm the head of a youth program, and I just asked the high school girls in my youth, like, oh, you guys want a boyfriend? You know, and what you got when you have a boyfriend now, you guys want to stay together, hopefully go to the same college. You guys want to go to the same college when you go to college, right? They're like, no, I'm trying to dump it so I can get to the next thing in college.
but you're talking to high school girls. That's what I'm saying. Like that's
Yeah, but
like
yeah,
they're
but
in a
see,
completely
Dream,
But
different.
that's
Is
the
that
age.
normal? I
Of,
don't even know if that's normal.
But
Yeah,
Dream,
I
that's-
but that's the
wouldn't
age
assume.
Bam is talking
that's
about, though.
also,
But
that's
hold on, no,
also
it's not
normal,
the
Steve,
age he's
because most
talking about.
people,
We're
most
talking-
people
He said
don't wind
18.
up finding their meat
We're
until
talking
college
about-
anyway.
It's okay. So like the whole point is this: that we're talking about like adults, right? Like adults like moving into their adult
next
phase,
phase
right?
of
Moving
life.
from teenage phase to adult phase, and then like deciding what they want to do and like who they want to associate and like what their romantic partners will be. Anyway, so the point is that like there's a whole list of reasons as to what can distract a person from immediately being like marriage focused, right? Laser focused on finding the one. So like we could just acknowledge that. In any case, like I hear you with like the I guess I was going to talk about the question you asked, Bam. I hear you about like men kind of get married when they decide to, but it's like I don't know. I don't know what the best way to do this, but like not everyone has like a whole list of options available to them in that way, right? And like when as they're getting older, right, like these things like weigh on an individual, like and so like I think it's harder for, I think different men have different ways of like looking at this situation, right? If you're a person who's been easily be able to get a date, right, easily able to get a girl, like look at Dream, like he like immediately found a woman, like as soon as he was done, last, like immediately, right? And Dream is that guy, like you can't hold him.
That nigga
He
say
is.
sub.
He is that guy, right? But not everyone is, right? And I think a lot of people
I'm an
aren't.
example of
And
that,
then-
Prime. I'm not that type of person. It takes me
Oh.
years to find the person that I want. Like
I
got
can't
out of a
imagine why.
relationship- I got a relationship and I did not like it at all. I didn't like the feeling of a relationship, so I waited 5 years before I even decided to start talking around anymore. You know, hell, you can sleep and fuck around if you want to, but to actually get serious and invest money into somebody, heck, that's a big decision for me. So because that relationship involves money, I mean, I don't know, for me, money is always the root of everything. But because that relationship involves money and involves me dedicating my time and my resources into it, if I can't justify it in my head, I just can't dedicate my time to it, because at the end of the day, what hurts my heart most is that I've wasted my money.
I think that sounds like a decision of values. And like I hear you, Prom. I think there's a subset, like a smaller percentage of men who really do have difficulty finding like anyone that they find interest in to date. Like that, I'm not saying that doesn't exist, but I think that dating is less a subject of like the way the red pill frames it around, like, oh, just these handsome guys get what they want. And I think it's more of just people who want to go through the efforts of dating get dates. Like if I'm willing to do the text back thing, if I'm willing to actually set up a place for me and a girl to meet, if I'm willing to go to the apps and do the swiping, if I'm willing to go to places women are, I think that people who are have the desire to go through that process can eventually can with some effort find somebody to date.
I think the
Yeah,
effort.
yeah,
Hold on. The effort has to be.
hold on.
The effort has to
Hold
be
on, Dream, hold on,
complemented with skills, though. That's the thing.
Okay, yeah. Well, there's that what Dream said, but beyond that, like, there's more to it. I mean, like, like there was a video that I had watched like a while ago. I sent it to someone actually recently, but like someone like literally mathematically broke down like the issue with like online dating, for men, right? For the vast majority of men. And like the numbers game there, and it's actually quite bleak for the vast majority of men, right? If you're not all dreams, right? If you're not like that, then like, for the vast majority of men, it's actually quite bleak. So you're asking for a lot of effort for a diminished amount of choices, and within that diminished dating pool, finding something that like that is dateable, right? But then dateable is different from like desirable. Like that, there's a whole list of things that like, and I think you're underestimating. I think Bam, I think you have like you have different experiences here, right? Like, you know, I think for a person like you, and Bam, my man Bam's handsome. We got a lot of handsome guys here, right? And I say that often, right? But I don't think you understand like what that looks like for those other guys, right? And you can't.
It'd probably be different if I dated. If I was interested in white women, it may be different. I may feel similar.
Why would that just?
What's
I
the
don't
difference
understand.
come from there?
I think that my, like, as crazy as it sounds, I think that my interest, my hyper interest in black women, and we know I think black women, if anyone can relate to men's relationship with dating online, it would be black women. And I think because I like hyper specifically look for black women, I have a better experience because it seems like
because you're an expert.
Other people aren't swiping on them either.
Okay.
He's saying fish in a barrel. He's saying fish in a barrel.
No, the nigga said he plays in a league where it's not a lot of other players. And
I'm in the G League cooking.
The numbers have changed. Like Prom was saying, the dating app game has made the numbers change drastically for men. A lot of men, particularly young men nowadays, they get turned off to the dating game because of the effort they have to put into on these dating apps, because the dating game has changed for them. Many of them haven't had to be social and go on dates in the old school way. So they're spending their time on their phones and stuff. They're swiping 10,000 swipes a week, and they can't find any meaningful connection, and it kills their desire to want to go through that effort. And then,
like I believe it's a skill, but I feel like I can make any man like 7 in 2 weeks.
Well, but Bam, even if you are a 7, can I give a perspective on that? Then, so I think this is not even a young man thing. I think every man goes through this, and it's kind of to Bam's point. You can just get tapped, like you said. I think any man, if you really wanted to try, you could. But I could beat that out of you. Like enough fuck ups, enough trying, enough playing the numbers game, and enough not getting what you want. Life can beat that out of you till you just don't have it in you anymore.
Luckily,
like I don't give a fuck.
100% Solus, 100%. And if you haven't experienced that, like, it's rough. Like when like to fail, right? And just like, you know what? I'm gonna just take a break, right? Like you'll maybe take some time, like Pace was saying. Not everyone just can get back into it. Like when you have just like a string of failures, and however you define a failure, right? That it could be different from a different person, right? But those experiences, like they aren't they don't come without a cost, right? Yeah. Like they are an emotional weight upon you, and sometimes it's just too much.
That's
after a while.
Good one there, Brian, because a lot of people, women particularly, because of the social pressures and the social conditioning of men, don't understand the emotional toil that men carry when it comes to relationships, when it comes to breaking up a relationship, particularly. Women can be over it after a couple of weeks or months. Men tend to cling on to that hurt for a long time, for a very long time, and it bothers them, particularly when they get older and they develop so much time, and then men get older. Men have a body dysphoria too, just like women do as they get older. Men are like, I've got to a point where the young, beautiful women don't want me anymore. They get to that point and they're like, yeah, I got a friend right now. I talked to him. I mean, I won't say he gets no hoes, but he's like, he's almost 40s, and he's depressed all the time because of stuff that's happened in the past. He won't let it go. No matter what you tell him to do, he won't let it go, and it affects his ability to develop relationships with people.
I think
And so,
in my life experience, whatever, usually when men get that point where they're like, you can look at it either way, like they can't do it anymore,
Crap, that's
or
weird.
they
We had
don't,
the same conversation at the same time. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I keep going.
or like they can't, they don't. It's like a moment where they realize they can go down this road, they can improve themselves, but either due to what they've been through in the past, or the fact that like a good person is not easy to come around platonically, even fuck romantically. Like good people don't just fall out of trees, right? And you stare down the fact of like, I really have to do this work and try and try and try, and you're done. I don't get it. Don't let you like, bro. Like if you go a long time without being in a relationship and you find like a comfortable stride in solitude, most dudes just be like, I quit. Like I don't care anymore.
Like that's what I was saying before. Like most men are just content letting things be that they are. You find somebody and it's nice. Why do I gotta propose and ruin it? Like just let it ride.
So there is that pace, right? What you're talking about, but Solus is talking about something different. Like Solus is like talking about my life right now, right? Like I got into that stride of being by myself, and I'm quite comfortable,
That's it.
And it's just like
comfortable, and you're like, why let somebody come and ruin that?
Well, there's that.
Is that you?
But even then, like before then, like I've had a lot of troubles myself, and like, do I want to go back to that? Like, it's daunting. It feels daunting to go back to the dating pool. I thought about it, right? So like, okay, man, like, I guess my friend Bam, he's like, hey, why don't we've had talks about this? Hey, why don't you try to go back to the dating pool? But like, it's like it feels like a mountain to get back on there. And like, I
feel like what you're saying overlaps with a lot of women becoming bi or lesbian.
What you mean?
What does that have to do with
The dating
I don't know
pool?
the relationship at all.
Look, if Prime is on a date, I'm not saying you are Prime, but if you're on a dating app, I would assume that the women that you're swiping on got their settings. I know the dating app's got it where you can set what type of people you want to be. You want to be with straight people, bi people, gay people, and you swipe on the people you want. I would assume that if they're on that section that they would be, straight, not bisexual. But
that's not. You're bringing up a whole different thing, brother.
I don't know.
You're the one that brought up bisexual
like,
women. I'm just saying. I would assume that
Yeah,
they
but
would be straight if they're on the straight side of it.
I was about to say, maybe we have two different perspectives. Maybe Dreams thinks he's like especially special, and maybe you are. But I think that like whenever I talk to people who have trouble dating, like they say like, oh, it's difficult, and I'm like, what are the asks that are difficult? It's like, oh, I gotta bathe every day. I gotta wear clothes.
I gotta try, nigga.
I gotta, I gotta cut my hair once a month.
But that's what I'm saying.
Like I don't like,
That's not-
and for some people that could be like the threshold. But I'm telling you,
that's not what I'm talking about. To be
Yeah,
fair.
I'm not applying that to you. But I'm just saying
Okay.
that like this is there are
Prom
things
don't
that
bathe his
people
ass.
talk
That's what
about
Pam said.
that are like that like, yeah, there probably is some bare minimum, like you have to meet the table, and yeah, maybe you have to have a couple of like okay pictures, and it can't just be like you in a dimly lit room like or like you in
Like
like
this.
yeah. I'm about to say if this was your picture, I would be like, okay, we can do better than that. But like
Yeah, this
you
is
gotta
a creep.
like there's lighting, there's like okay, go somewhere, do something. Like I'm telling you, like your bio should be something like we could do biographies, even though I don't even think biographies matter. I don't know if people really
Bios
do
go crazy, bro. My bio go crazy.
My bio was basic and on most things.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
that's
It's just
exactly
like the type of conversations you have just have to be not even that witty. Just like honestly, it's the hey.
But,
how are you, what you
wait,
doing?
Bam.
I'm with Master.
I'm with you. I don't disagree that by washing your ass and being a decent gentleman, you can get in the game. But even once you're in the game, it can get a lot of what I hear is like
maintaining the game.
Not
You
even
get
maintaining
in.
it. It's like reciprocation. It's like, okay, I have all these things and this is great, but like what I'm getting is, oh, great, another conversation about how you think because you're a Pisces is the reason that you had a bad relation. Like, bro, like, no, seriously. And it gets to a point I don't have another one of that in me. Like, I don't.
No,
I don't.
you're absolutely
Well,
right.
you know
You're
what,
absolutely
another-
right. When I started dating again, I had that same problem. I downloaded all the dating apps, and then I realized.
You had a problem? I thought you just went out there and found the own side.
No, he's just saying he got bored. He didn't. Enjoy
No, I'm
the
saying
conversations he was having.
it was boring. It was absolutely boring talking to a lot of women that, frankly, I have to come up with all the subject matter and to be
That can't be
entertaining.
something. I get
That is so tiring, and women just don't know how to. A lot of women. I mean, not say women in general, but a lot of women, and I do think the majority of
You're
women
among friends, bro.
who are in these dating pools, who are on dating apps, just tend to not really know how to hold a conversation, or they come off a little too creepy. But
But you know what?
Pace is a lot of fun. But
Another part of that, I think, I don't know if you ever had this problem, Brian, but I know when I started trying to go back to the dating apps and stuff, you know, when you first start swiping on them, they're fine. But then after a couple of years and going back on there,
years,
I didn't need to go on there. I was in a relationship.
years.
And,
Yeah,
but then after a couple of years, I go back to it and I'm like, I'll swipe there. You swipe on there,
It's
and
been
it seems
on
like
the app,
every single woman is a robot nowadays. Like I go
What
on
you
there.
mean?
like a
no,
bot.
look,
Like, you mean an actual
right,
bot.
like right now.
Oh,
if
literally.
If I go on to my dating app right now, I'll get 25 messages in a couple of
Jesus
seconds,
Christ!
and it'll all be come to my website and use
Yeah,
your credit
he's
card
absolutely right.
it gets so discouraging.
It gets
I
to
don't
a
even wanna
point where you're
fucking-
like, bro,
I don't even
I
wanna
have.
fucking deal with it because every woman, like, they'll come and say and the robots have gotten smart because they'll say hey, how are you
You
doing?
got the AI
And then-
flirting with you, bro.
and then look, they'll drop that message because they know that you're used to the usual message of the naked stuff. So they'll drop a regular message like, hey, what are you doing? And they'll drop WYD or some stuff, and then you go and you comment on it, and then the next message that comes out there, oh, I think you got a big dick, I want to fuck, and then they post this picture with the link on it, and you go down like, okay, so you're like, okay, I don't even want to fucking deal with it anymore because every time you look at the app, it's
I hear you. I had to it became a skill of mine to like be able to filter out which one. But I got to a point where because their profiles weren't like particularly fulfilled. Like there was like a special.
Picture.
There was one or two pictures of like a ridiculously hot girl, and then like barely a profile. There's like you could eventually start filtering out which ones were
He
fake.
says like,
But there's
I'm
a
just looking to
lot of
hook up
fucking
right now,
bots.
really easy. That I just
Also-
want to hook up with guys.
Yeah.
I had
that
to
girl
find
just
out.
needs to hook up.
I had to find out the hard way what the unicorn emoji meant.
What
Pause.
does a unicorn emoji?
Actually, I
Don't
know
fuck.
what I mean.
Don't fuck
I mean,
around and
she
find
got a
out.
dick.
Don't fuck around and find out.
What's the tranny?
A big. Oh, like
God damn it,
Yeah,
Chico.
yeah,
It
Twitch.
Crazy.
But-
was reflexive. He didn't even think about it. It just came off the
hesitate.
hip.
That's that American
That
flag
was-
behind him.
Oh,
Like,
man, that shit just came off the hip. He
like
didn't
we in
even think twice.
2007.
Regular
Like, no one
vocabulary.
even uses that word anymore.
Oh
No,
god,
but
bro.
you
Transgender.
said it was a-
Just don't say it again.
Transsexual.
Okay.
Transsexual. is
Trans
fine, bro.
person.
I don't even think
Transsexual.
transsexual. I think that's
It's,
like
it's transgender
Transgender.
at this point. Yeah, yeah.
My
yeah.
bad. But
No,
I was
don't
about to
worry.
say.
No worries.
I was just about to say. I think they get to a point where it's like I have happiness at home, bro. Like I don't. Between the bots, between the literal bots, like the actual human beings, where you have a conversation with, and you're like, "Hey, man, what do you think about insert important thing that matters to you?" That's just a general social subject. And they're like, "Oh, I don't give a fuck about that. Like, you run into a wall and like your happiness and solitude will just be calling you the entire time. You don't have to do this, bro.
Yeah,
It-
yeah,
Also-
yeah, 100%.
also- The general idea of talking to multiple people is draining in of itself because I
Yeah, you
feel
forget
like
people's
I
names.
feel like I feel like an NBA coach where I have to cater the needs of each individual player and make sure that they feel like they're wanted on the team. Because if I lack on one day, then the player is gonna be like, you know what, I don't want to play for this team. I want to transfer. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how I feel, and I'm like, damn, bro, that's what I really like. Let me just keep one or two players, man. I can start my own 2-on-2 league. But
Wow,
yeah,
I
having
love
a whole roster, it's really
Dream,
draining. You have to
Dream.
take a lot of
Dream
effort.
is literally having a
Dream,
different conversation.
Dream. What do you think about the idea of like marriage disconnected from religion? You think it's practical?
Yeah.
I think marriage is disconnected from religion in general.
It's mad people who are atheists that are married.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna.
That's
Yeah,
surprising hearing Pace
And
say that of all people.
marriage. Oh, look, I've said this to people all the time. Marriage existed before religion, and it will exist after religion is gone. I mean, my biggest issue of marriage nowadays is that Uncle Sam's grubby little fingers are involved in it. Like, there's no reason for him to be involved in it. And it fucks
Yeah,
up
tell
marriage.
him.
So,
I've really never
D-
understood that conservative talk. I'm sorry, Prom. You go.
Yeah, hold on. But Don, where did you were on to go with that? Like, were you trying to
Well,
go place?
I mean, it's just because I know Dream has spoken before about dating a woman that was like super religious, and he was religious but not as religious. And I was thinking to myself today, just on the idea of marriage, like, yes, I understand like the tax benefits and I understand the social benefit as well, but I feel like what religion allows people to do, if done in the right way, it will allow people to align on certain values that'll help them raise children, help them just, be together in life if taken in the right light, and not taking maybe the more negative aspects of that religion has to offer, right? If that's the case, if we can take the best from religion, then wouldn't what's the value of marriage in regards to religion? Because marriage is the ultimate unification, and if religion is a good way to vet people, then why? Then there must be some value in it.
I mean, some people do that, right? Like,
yes, of course.
More power to them, and I have nothing against those people that are
That's
like,
not
listen,
you. But that's not you.
Oh, that's not me. But yeah.
Okay, that was my only question. I was just curious. I was literally
Sure. People are like, hey, listen, I'm Muslim. I gotta marry a Muslim. I'm Christian. I gotta marry a Muslim Christian for X, Y, and Z reasons. Sure, whatever. I personally,
would have to marry somebody that's compatible with my religion. If I was going to get married and I was going to marry somebody and the religion was important, I couldn't marry somebody that practices a different faith than I do. I don't think it would be a happy household for two conflicting faiths to be practicing in the same home.
Welcome
Why
to
not?
last week.
Yeah,
Why
that's
not?
what. Yeah, no, we already went down that road. Yeah,
I'm
Yeah.
saying,
the
like,
week.
I mean,
But the
like,
point is-
statistically, yes, but it doesn't have to be, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, but like, we
Nothing has
went
to
down
be.
that road.
But even outside of religion, two conflicting lifestyle choices is not going to make good bedfellows.
That's exactly the conversation we're having.
I mean,
yeah,
as
and-
long as you respect each other and
Oh
But yeah,
God,
but-
we're gonna.
but
These niggas
this
want to
is-
run it back so
This
bad.
is- yeah. This is what. Well, yeah, like this. Well, this we can turn this back to the previous conversation that like, we were talking about how a woman of like the age was 33 or 30, whatever that age might have been.
33.
33, right? Why she could have so much trouble finding a person, especially being a black woman, where there's such a gender imbalance with black men with degrees, and who have attained like a level of wealth. Like it's very easy to have that, and when you don't, and so there's cultural alignment, but culture does tie in with wealth, right? People in different socioeconomic statuses, like they move in different circles, they do different things, like Bam was saying before about like going on vacations and stuff, right? Like it just makes things difficult. And so like just like I'm just trying to like circle back to this whole idea of like having trouble finding a person. Like it's I think it's difficult for people who aren't in those situations to like properly like comprehend, right? They look at their own dating lives and they apply their perspectives that they learn. So I think most dating advice, as I said before, is just not useful, not applicable, right? It's a person who like it's coming from a person who's had a set of experiences and they're valid to them, right? They're useful to them and people maybe like them. But if you're dealing people with like a different level of attractiveness, different level of resources, because that matters in dating, different maybe religion, like too, right? The religious affiliation, all these things they come in and they create a unique environment, um, and it's I see it. I've seen it time and time again where it's really difficult for people to appreciate that their experiences aren't universal, you know.
But
I've also thought it was.
is this a fair thing to say though? Like, if you're a 33-year-old woman with resources and time, is it fair to say that you should probably be asking the better questions of like, well, what do the men I want like? Right? Shouldn't you like get on hunting mode? I don't, because it doesn't even seem like this. It didn't sound like it the way this
Nope.
motherfucker. It didn't sound like it at
A
all.
lot, of
Motherfucker
them,
said,
a lot of them are probably married.
She's just saying, "Hey, I want this. Why can't I get this?" She wasn't saying like, "I'm making myself in a way that these men that I like are actually,
they make it sound like being 33 is so old. I mean, 33 is just 3 years away from me. It's not that,
super old.
Yeah, but if you're on the prowl, if you've been on the prowl for 10 years.
And it's
somebody's
beyond
on the
that.
prowl for- I mean,
well, I know what girls
again,
like.
again,
It's pretty
women-
simple.
Again, women have they have that urge to make a family or whatever. So I guess maybe because of me not caring about having children is a part of that. But like
It is
my
a big
last
part.
my last ex was 33, and the ex before that was much longer. She was 7 years older than I am. But they have
Pimping.
their own set of goals and how they want to get things done. But I think at the end of it, I mean, it's to me what has caused relationships not to work with women for me has nothing to do with the amount of money that they made. Because honestly, if they weren't making any money, I'd be a little upset because I'm not about to take care of a grown individual who is an equal to me and can make money. But what has caused issues most of the time has been their nasty attitudes, their inability to reciprocate things, or inability to communicate effectively. Because some women just like to give you the silence treatment, and you don't even know what the hell you did, and it is bothersome. And to Bam's point about men wanting to feel needed, well, yeah, men want to feel needed, but men want to feel needed in more than just a provider type of way. Like you're at home and so you're sitting there on the couch or whatever, and you see your wife or whoever is sitting there. She's fighting with the pickle jar or whatever. It's the smallest thing, but the fact that they come over there and be like, "Here, could you open up for me?" to make a man feel like they're useful in some way is also a big part of it. And a lot of women don't make their men feel useful at all. A lot of women, particularly women who are older than the men that they're attracted to, like to baby their men and treat them like mama's boys, and that's a big problem.
I think you have to look around the history of we have to look, especially with Black people in particular. You have to look at the environments we grew up in. You have to look at the communities people are coming out of, and you're looking at how the unfortunate reality, how many men were in these households. What were women doing in the household? Women were either handling things and taking care of things, or there were other men coming in and out that they couldn't be considered or trusted. And I think that creates one in that mother to put onto her daughter, like, look, I don't need you. Don't ever be in a position where you're dependent on a man, because number shows that that's not safe for you. It's not safe to be dependent on a man. And I think that's a hard thing. There's a hard level of trust to
But listen, I don't think that's on the highest priority for what a man wants in a woman, is to feel like he's financial or she's financially dependent on him. Like, me, I actually like that a woman can be independent because that means you're not wanting me for what I can give you financially, but rather what I can give you like emotionally or spiritually or like something in your core that somebody else that has money can't give you, right? Like
Sure, but a
you
lot of
have a
black men
unique
talk about submissiveness. That's a big thing in our community that they talk about in the
Mhm.
Yeah,
type
but
of
sure.
the
they
dynamics.
use it
I
very wrong.
But
They
hold
use it
on, hold on,
very,
hold on.
very
Wait. But being submissive got nothing to do with money. Like
That-
it's
This
just
is
a
past money. That's what I'm saying. It's not just about money. I'm saying
right.
like
That's
there's an idea of
what I'm
dependent
saying.
being dependent on a man, and I think that like we come from a culture that shows that might not be in black women's best interest to grow
What
up.
I'm trying to say
Right.
is what's not in black woman's best interest is correct in terms of, because a man can just up and leave at any point in time, that you should probably have your own, or at the very least get him early before he makes money. That way you can get that alimony. So that's one thing that I think black women have right. Number two, right? I think what matters most for a man, for a man's perspective, is to feel wanted, right? To feel wanted for a plethora of reasons. Number one, wanted sexually. What is this beeping noise? Y'all hear this?
I'm sorry, no, that's my phone going off. I had the GTA 4
Yeah.
notification. That's my
So if a woman, if a woman wants a man sexually, that's like on the highest of my priorities. Like I don't want a man to want me monetarily. And sure, if a woman is submissive to me, you can interpret submissive as cooperative and feminine. And listen, cooperative and feminine to the extent where I don't know too many men that always want a yes man from a woman. Like I do think, especially, you know, I do think there's a lot of men out there that value the critique and opinion of their woman, because why the fuck are you marrying her if you don't think that she has a good head on her shoulders?
Mhm.
Like
okay,
you're not
okay.
intentionally marrying no
Hold
dumb
up.
So look, to put this in a very simple way, it's not that men necessarily want submissiveness. They just don't want to argue all the time. That's really what it boils down to.
Yeah,
It's not
cooperate.
about her being submissive. It's about her. It's about like more so
Being agreeable?
agreeableness. It's
Yeah.
more so
Yeah,
being agreeable.
cooperation.
Actually, being able to cooperate, like actually being able to have a actual team dynamic. I don't think people are opposed to their women having actual input. Most of the time, they would actually, oh baby, what do you want? You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, like part of it is you want her to be happy. That's what part of it is. So I think it really boils down to like how she actually how she actually participates in the relationship, and I think like most guys like they it always boils down to, man, I work all day, I have to deal with this, I got to deal with that, then I got to come home to you, you know what I'm saying, and blah 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 blah. And I think that's what a lot of black men in particularly say to our black women, is that's what they want. They want somebody that is not so argumentative all the time, and it doesn't have to be like a back and forth, like sometimes there's a bit more just like, hey, this is like an easier situation, you know.
I love an argumentative woman, but
Yo, you got problems.
I like
Yeah,
a woman
I
that
enjoy
knows
You
it.
how to
got
argue.
problems, bro.
I don't like to fight. I like to argue. Two different things.
Yo, no,
Nah, I
y'all got
prefer all of my
problems.
women. I prefer I
think-
like, and this is gonna sound
Hold
weird.
on.
I like when somebody makes me feel stupid for arguing. That actually feels good to have somebody around me that'd be like, "Nigga, what are we like? Really? Like,
That-
what is this? How we going to speak today, bro? What the fuck is happening?"
I think
That's different than just arguing.
And I think everybody's priority or everybody's preference, to just make sense logically, is to be on the same side or have the same opinion about something. So arguing is not necessary. Like to already be on the same page, so that you have no conflict. I think that's what's preferable, obviously, and in pretty much every situation, if not the vast majority, you're gonna have, like in reality, you're gonna have some friction. But if the more you agree, the less conflict you'll have.
I don't know. Maybe I might be toxic because I remember this was just recently, within like the last probably 3 weeks. It was something. A girl said something, and I was like, "Ooh!" I had like I went into debate mode, and I started like, "Actually, as soon as I got on my spell, she's like, okay, babe, I believe you." and like I didn't get to say it, and that pissed me off.
You know, your
So
whole
bad.
yeah. You gotta,
Like,
you
you're
gotta
right.
get that
I
out your
believe
spirit.
you.
You gotta get that out your
You
spirit.
got a
Bro.
problem.
I was
You
like,
got a
I was
problem.
like, no.
Nick,
I was like,
wait,
no, we
wait.
supposed to argue. We supposed to be we
Nah.
supposed to do this here.
You 29?
Not yet, almost. Yeah,
Damn.
I
Happy
enjoy
birthday!
it.
Happy birthday!
Why do you think we what? That's why I do. Maybe people are different. I come to this space because I enjoy arguing generally. In the chat, like in our group that doesn't exist. Why am I always arguing with it? I enjoy arguing. It's so fun for me.
I can tell, and I think that's a problem because I enjoy arguing too.
That's why I went
but,
to voice messages.
but with a purpose. Like I love having a purpose and arguing for that. But you just
I
seem
don't need a
like
purpose.
arguing is the purpose.
Yeah. Now
I
I
think
believe
the
in everything
only-
I say, but like, but if I disagree with something you say, I don't have it in me to not like say it. Like I gotta put it out there because I enjoy it.
I enjoy
love the
arguing to
game.
the extent that like sometimes people have told me shit that I disagreed with, but I had no choice to accept. But I also think that that's such a rare occurrence that arguing's not really worth it, bro. Like very rarely is somebody like, you know what, bro, I don't agree, but god damn it, I gotta respect that. That doesn't happen often. It's usually just
I
niggas shouting back and forth.
I did that shit today. Like when the bitch said, "What am I gonna get in a relation for semantics?" And I was like, "Wait, why she's using the word semantics wrong?" And
my boy Swerve understands. My boy Swerve in the chat, he gets it.
And then I told
top.
I told my girlfriend like this bitch is an idiot. Look, she doesn't even know how to use semantics. And then she like, well, actually, semantics means this. I was like, no, it's not. Then I looked it up and I realized, oh shit, I'm wrong. Oh yeah, you're right, I'm wrong.
Arguing is good. I'm sorry.
And I was just gonna say like,
What was the point of that story?
the point of that is to say like
He can
what-
he
against-
can accept.
to the counter of what Solus is saying. Like arguing has no point, which to the majority of the time it doesn't. I really do think it matters to who you're talking to, because I argue all the time with people that I think are like are equals of mine.
Yeah, but Dream. Okay, sorry. Go ahead. My bad. Go ahead.
Not finished. Go ahead.
No. Because you said you want to set up your relationships so that all that shit is figured out beforehand, so that we
I
can
said that's most
minimize.
optimal. Yeah, I said
It's most right, so that we can minimize these occurrences, right? But then you're also saying that essentially that conflict is essential to any good relationship.
No. Knowing how to deal with conflict is essential. You don't need a conflict. And
Yeah,
also,
but
while
you were
at the
expressing
same
the
time-
need to expressing oneself in contrast to another's opinion is what can create conflict most of the time, right?
Sure, yeah.
It's just the mere fact of standing up and saying, "Nah, this is what I think."
Yep.
And if that, so I would say that's essential to any relationship, is the ability to be able to stand up and say what you say your side of things.
Absolutely, and
Right,
knowing how to do that in a, I believe, calm, respectful manner is also pertinent.
Oh yeah, of course. Tact is important, but that core element of conflict, right? Which that's what it is essential to any relationship. So when you're looking for a partner, I don't think it's viable to say to people, okay, you should know a bunch of things like you should have a bunch of these things ironed out before you decide to go a certain level, because the truth of the matter is, especially with men, we probably first go off aesthetic, and then we continue with them. And what happens is we find out things, and we either converge or diverge based on the things that we learn.
Yep.
Right. So that's what it is. That is what it is, and that's why you said in the beginning it's luck, because the ability to move through all those rungs of the ladder is the luck. But
to me, I don't need my woman to agree with me on everything or even most things. What I want her to, like, there are core things that I want her to agree with. Number one, or not even that, because I'm a liberal. I'm a liberal, right? And I was super happy to find out that my current girlfriend is also a liberal. But my ex-girlfriend wasn't a liberal, even though I was, right? She was more on the conservative side, right? Somewhere in between conservative and liberal. And so I was like, you know what? That's fine. You can have your opinion, whatever, right? And it didn't really bother me. So on me, I think the most important part about a relationship to me is whether or not we get along. Like, do we have chemistry? Do we make each other laugh? Do we
Yes,
enjoy
yes.
spending time?
You're right.
Do we
Because
enjoy spending time together?
yeah.
And if I feel like a nuisance to you, then or you feel like a nuisance to me, like
Yeah.
you have that feeling in your gut, then that's gonna be like the telltale sign that I don't want to be with you. But
Right.
if I just get along, almost anything else can be solved. Like almost anything else, as long as we get along, as long as we have good times together when we're together, almost anything else can be like overlooked or solved,
Yep.
in my opinion.
Because we all have friends. We all have friends that we have stark differences in our political opinions and our opinions about a lot of things, but we're still good friends with them. And I think that this why is that any different when applied to a romantic relationship? That same structure can exist. You know.
I mean, I don't know, but you're also not.
I mean, it is more
right?
severe. An intimate romantic relationship is more
and like
severe.
I get to walk.
Yeah.
So like I have like a lot of friends. Like I talk about this all the time. Like I have a lot of friends. Like I've met through like this through Twitch, through doing debate panels, who like think differently from me, and I appreciate them. Like I love them as friends. You know, like I that they tell me I'm wrong all the time. They say terrible things about me. But like my man GSU Gambit, right? Like and I disagree.
The guy you
on-
were sucking earlier.
Hey, yo.
GSU
Whoa, what?
Gambit?
I don't even know the
Oh.
context of what you talking about.
You guys said no
Oh.
cap.
What the fuck?
I don't understand what's
Oh
happening
no,
here.
buddy.
Whatever.
I don't know what's going
Oh
on.
no.
Okay, I'm
Hey,
lost too. But you were
hey,
saying?
But yeah,
hey,
so
other types of words exist, Dream.
I
yeah,
said
so-
that. I said that to be inflammatory. I'm sorry.
Okay, alright.
That shit was so funny, bro.
Okay. Well, Gambit is a friend that I actually really care about. Great guy. We disagree on a lot, but him and we walk away from each other, right? He goes to his life and I go to my life. And that's something. I'm not like living with him and like have to go to grocery shopping with Gambit, you know, or for the whole list of other people I have who have like very different political ideologies, and very different like life perspectives. Like those people, we come together usually for like a week, like every week, and only for a few hours. We do our thing, we yell at each other, and then we're gone. To do that constantly,
Love
I mean,
the
like there's
emphasis on the
level
yelling
like
at each
liking
other.
arguing, but I think I'm actually curious about this. Maybe Bam can
Can I push back on that, Prime?
Okay.
Yeah, I think that it depends on if I think it's something. I
Wait,
think what
what?
you're saying is true if you have like strong political opinions, strong oppositions. I think that like I think you could date someone who is neutral on political neutral.
No.
You know,
But
The
they
problem
say-
is Prime. You exist in a space where the people that you talk to online, that is going to be predominantly political. If you had the opportunity to learn about people on a different perspective and in a different dimension, right? I think your opinion might change, because I know that, for example, me and Swerve, we've been good friends, but it was only till we actually started expressing political opinions to one another that we realized that we didn't agree on a lot of shit. But still my boy. So like,
Right.
I think that because of all the other things, right? You can kind of like it's like a pie. It's like a pie circle, and it's like the things I like and the things I don't like, you know? And we make those kind of decisions about people in our lives all the time. We take the good with the bad, right? That's the saying. We take the good with the bad.
But there's certain
And-
bads that you can't overcome. I get
No,
that.
of
I
course.
get it. Like
Yes.
I get that.
So,
It's like it's
hold
one
on.
thing to like have different
Hold
opinions.
on, hold
There's
on,
nothing
hold
that's-
on. Okay, so look, here's what y'all are missing. You have to go home with her. You have to still sleep in the same bed as her. Everyone's talking about friendships. Friendships are not relationships.
Exactly.
You're not fucking them.
Yeah.
Because once you pissed her off by whatever political belief you hold, you
Yeah.
ain't getting none that night. And that's gonna trickle into something else.
But that's
Like
the problem.
it's always
Yeah, but there's all kinds of reasons why you ain't getting none.
No,
There's
no,
all
no,
other
that-
kinds of
no,
reasons.
but look. You're ignoring what I'm saying at face value.
I'm not.
And at face value, if you're always gonna be with that person in their face, it is not the same as a friendship where you're not
I don't
living
disagree with that. I don't disagree. That's obvious.
But
But hold on. Can we talk about
But
the
the
real
thing
thing?
is,
Because
but-
why is she the type of person to withhold punani, right? Why is she that type of person in the first place to withhold punani just because she disagrees with you? Like that's the problem.
That's women's ability to control
But
yeah.
like that.
But
That's,
I'm
one,
not.
What happened to
that's
Dream?
one of their powers. That's one of their
My bad.
superpowers.
But that's what I'm
Super
trying to
power.
say is if this is the type of woman that I would look for, is that listen, we can disagree all we want, but don't you
No.
but
You're
at
never-
the-
you're
but-
not-
hold on. You heard
No,
that?
no,
Hold
no.
on.
This is
No,
misogyny.
hold
This is
on.
misogyny.
That's not.
Please
That is
listen.
not gonna
Please
happen.
listen. I'm not even done.
That is not
I'm
gonna
not
happen.
even done. You heard the Neo song. I want to go to bed mad at you. You know what I'm saying? So that's the essential philosophy of what I'm trying to say is, and this is what I communicate to the girls I date is that listen, we get upset all we want about with each other, but at the end of the day, we're together for a reason. And
you want to spread them fucking legs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That doesn't mean say
no.
You're
That's
never
not what I'm
gonna
saying.
find out.
No, you're not understanding what I'm saying.
no.
I'm not saying
No,
I'm
no,
forcing no
wait,
bitch to have sex with me.
I
if
didn't
you're
say
not
that. I
in
didn't
a-
say.
We're
saying you should want to.
No.
Listen.
I'm saying you can be,
Listen.
you cannot be in the mood, and I want to have sex with you for whatever reason because you're not in the mood. Whatever, that's fine. What I'm saying is, you not being in the mood. One of the reasons for that being should not be because you're
Yeah,
both
but
disagree.
it
That's what I'm trying to say.
Listen,
Go ahead,
That's-
Smooth, you go
Yo,
first.
Dream, that doesn't even
real.
make sense,
Wait,
bro.
let's
Because
get it out.
Let's move.
that's real life, bro. That's
I understand.
real.
I'm saying I'm not
life.
picking those
No,
women.
hold
That's what
on,
I'm saying.
hold on. No, let me finish all the way. That's real life. There's no world where you're gonna be like open border, and she's gonna be like, yes, Dad. Like, no, if she wants a closed border, that's what she's gonna say. Like, you're not gonna beat it into like. That's not gonna happen, bro.
I'm
Like,
saying
that's not gonna
I'm telling you
happen.
my lived experience and my reality right now.
No,
Me and my girlfriend
here's
have disagreements
but
all
no,
the time.
that's because of right now, fam. I want you to be 5 years down the road
Yeah, living
and
with
like
a person,
not get
but-
some because you didn't take the trash out or some dumb mess. Like, but it's not even. It's not
Word.
even because. It's
It's
not even
way worse
because you
than your
didn't take.
political
But look,
opinions.
it's not even
So
because you
I
didn't
don't
take.
know we're talking about
But
political opinions.
here's the thing, though. It's not even because you didn't take the trash out. It's the argument that happened after you didn't take the trash out. Is why you're not getting any. Like,
It's the energy
that's what.
transfer. It's the energy
I'm
transfer.
telling you. I'm telling you, bro.
From 3 years ago, that just got triggered
But
because
hold on,
you didn't
that's-
take the trash.
Smooth,
Listen,
Smooth has
I'm
got so
telling
much
you, bro.
wisdom.
This
Smooth has
seems
just
like
got
this.
so much wisdom, man.
Bro,
Like, it's-
Hold on.
I'm telling you.
Hold on. This
Bro,
is a
I'm
different
telling you,
argument.
bro.
This is a different argument, and I'll and here's
It's
what I
not.
gotta say.
But go ahead.
It is because what I'm trying to say is you shouldn't not have sex with somebody just because you have a disagreement, and you don't need to have a fight in order to have a disagreement, and that's what I'm trying to say.
You're oversimplifying what
listen,
a disagreement is.
I'm trying to explain to you why I said what I said in the context of what I said it, and why my
We know that. We're not dumb. We're not dumb.
What I'm trying to say is you made a counter argument, but then it was a different argument. It wasn't a counter argument.
It's the same.
Jesus Christ, can I talk? What I'm trying to say is this: is that what I said doesn't apply to what you just said, because what I said applies. Pace, please. Before I smack the fuck out of you, shut up.
It does apply.
Jesus Christ.
Hey, keep it respectful, nigga. Damn.
Damn, I asked this nigga 3 times. So
Yeah. Let
okay.
Jim get it out. Let Jim get it out. I also want to hear what Bam has to say on this, because Bam has something interesting.
So as I was saying, the point, what I said initially has everything to do with just having a disagreement in itself, not the fight. Because I understand if you're having a fight and it's horrible enough for you to ruin your mood, you're not gonna want to have sex. Of course, that makes super sense. What I'm saying is, imagine you've already had the fight. It's 2 weeks later, right? And you just understand that each other have a different opinion than the other. That disagreement in opinion or differing opinion should not give you ammunition to with. Please, I'm not done. Ammunition to withhold the punani. That's 1. 2. Now, after I heard what you just said, right? And I'm trying to say is, you as a relationship should be able to have healthy, cordial conversations about a disagreement. So if you had a disagreement or an argument about a trash not being taken out, it would be done in a respectful way, that such a scenario of, damn, this nigga didn't take the trash out, now I'm gonna be super angry at him, and then blah 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 happen for it to lead to you not giving away the punani. So what I'm trying to say is having healthy relationships prevents this toxic
Okay,
mentality.
so we already knew all that. I don't know why you had to run us
Right.
through this. Like, this is what
Like
Gambit,
that. You
Gambit was like,
you explained that like we were children
last year. Like,
Yeah, there's
last
nothing
week.
new. Every
Last
everybody.
week
What
we
was
had
the
this
point of what
exact
you
same.
said then?
We had this exact same conversation last week. Gambit was like, yeah, we know where you're going with these things. We got that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we didn't have to explain the whole thing over to us. But like, I want to hear from Bam. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think that like I think we're oversimplifying what disagreement is. There, like a disagreement is like I hate tank tops. I hate when you wear tank tops. You wear tank tops all the time. That's something you can disagree with. I think that when you get into politics in particular, again, if you're dealing with someone who has a strong like interest in politics, I think it becomes
Talking about
more
moral
it
disagreement?
becomes more fundamental. Like if you cut on TV and you say like, oh wow, Roe v. Wade turned over. Yes, I'm glad women don't got the right to choose what to do with their body. Like, and that was your reaction. And she looks over like, what the F? And it's like, oh, like I actually do think women should have that choice. And you're like, well, if we disagree, tomatoes. Like, no, I don't think that. Like, if that's something that she feels strongly about, I don't think that that's something that you realistically move past.
You break up. Like I've had this that very exact.
Why is it so black and white with you? Like, why is that
No,
so,
I'm trying to explain.
break up. Like,
No, I'm trying to explain to you. I've had that very exact same conversation with my girlfriend currently, where she's like, "Listen, I'm pro-choice. Are you pro-choice?" I was like, "Yeah, you abort the baby, whatever the fuck." But she was telling me, "Oh, because if you weren't, and I just so happened to get pregnant, and I was gonna abort the baby, and you weren't gonna like that, so that's probably gonna end up being a relationship breaker. So why not nip it in the bud? Because we have such an ideological standpoint difference. Why not nip it in the bud now before we wait in time?"
Isn't this a moral disagreement? Like, you have a literal disagreement on your morality. At that point, you're like, hey man, women have the right to do what they want with the body of the other person. This is a moral disagreement, bro. Like,
but exactly, that's what I'm trying to explain to Ben.
I'm about to say politics are downstream from our morality. Like,
that's what I'm saying. Like, politics is doing a lot of heavy lifting here. We could just say morals.
But no, it's also just. I'm saying that like politics is our morals placed into.
Can I get in there?
Legal system.
Can I get in there though? I gotta say something against what Dream is saying.
So Dream, here's the thing, man. I think you're using
Actually,
extreme.
we want to do the second topic though. If we have time.
I was just going off what Bam just said.
I went to an extreme to make it easier, but I'm sure there's plenty of other like just things that we would consider more political. That would also be like if you were involved with somebody. Like, okay, another thing. Like, I'm sorry, this is the last thing. I just want to say this because we're about to move away from it. Like, if your girl was like a staunch Trump supporter, like she was like MAGA rally, like is that really her morals? Maybe not necessarily. But if she wanted to go to a MAGA rally, I could understand like being like it being with a person like, oh, I don't think I want to associate with that. Like, she got you a hat. She wants you to wear the shirt with her. Like, nah, I don't think I rock with this.
That's too far.
she beat cheeks only. That's what MAGA's is. Beat cheeks only.
Yeah, my bad, Don.
Go ahead, Champler. You want to say something?
Just on the thing that Dream was saying about if somebody has different political opinions than they withhold sex for 2 weeks, right? That was something that he said.
In 2 weeks, they withhold sex.
For 2 weeks, they withhold sex, right? That is an extreme. That's ridiculous. That would be ridiculous. That would be ridiculous for a lot of situations, not just the difference in political. You said withhold sex for 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks, they use that as ammunition.
I said if in 2 weeks you still are using something that happened 2 weeks ago to withhold sex when it should have been handled, then I think that's a problem. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. Isn't that the same as withholding sex for 2? All right.
No. I'm saying in 2 weeks you both feel frisky and then bring it up the past. Like,
y'all
didn't want. Yeah, I was like, y'all didn't want to fuck for those 2 weeks. Y'all were both at a neutral. Then you felt frisky. And she was like, no, you said MAGA 2 weeks ago, nigga. No pussy for you. That's what he.
Like, it's not like you've been asking every day. That was just the first time.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I was about to say probably it'll probably have to take something pretty serious for your partner to still. I mean, not even forget the sex part of it, to still be angry about something 2 weeks later. Like, it's probably a pretty like significant rift in a relationship. Like, it would have to take something.
Yeah, exactly.
I do also think that. Like, you need to be able to have healthy disagreements. Be like, hey, listen, we just have a different mindset on this, and we should just like move we agree to disagree. Like, that's what I say to my girlfriend.
yeah.
We got that. We
so
got
we
it,
want you to
it-
give the last word on this smooth, then we'll got to move on.
Oh, what? No, I really didn't. It really doesn't matter. Go
Okay.
ahead.
All right. Well, all right, so let's just yeah, so this was an interesting conversation. Well, shout out to Dream for bringing it to us, and you know, it took us along lots of directions. So we'll skip to our second topic. Hey, everyone, thanks for being here. Shout out to
wow.
Bam for gifting that one sub, and thank you Dravinium for gifting 100 bits previously. Guys, if you enjoyed this content so far, right? If you enjoyed our conversation, I thought it was a pretty fun one. Consider subs to the channel, gifting bits or gifting subs. That's how we power this community. How I'm able to come back here and do these things with you all, right? We need you to, but we need your support. So consider helping us out, and get our emotes and get app reviewing, and yeah, be generally a cool person. Hype chat, super chats, if you want to, put something in, get us to react to it. You know, we'd love to do that. Okay, so Bam, what's that thing flashing behind you? Like it's been killing me.
I
Like,
have no idea actually.
It looks like a
Off my
Wi-Fi
camera?
signal.
yeah, is it like I don't know? It's like a little box behind you. Like, what is that?
I don't know. You want me to fix it? Is it bothering you?
Yeah, it's about. It's just
All
You
right,
got
I'll work on it.
ADHD.
okay. Anyway, yeah. So anyway, this is all like everything. We didn't really do an introduction, but we're just gonna jump right into the topics, right? And if you want to say something about yourself, I guess you can. So I'm gonna read the topic. Crystal Kaiser
Yes.
was a teenager when she was sexually assaulted and trafficked by a man. In retaliation, she killed him. She is now facing charges for the murder of her assailant. The fact that she was assaulted is not at all in doubt, yet still she faces the possibility of being jailed. People have drawn parallels between this case and Kyle Rittenhouse. They say that if he can be acquitted for self-defense, so should she. If we have irrefutable proof that a person was sexually assaulted, should that automatically preclude them from facing murder charges against their assailant? Does your answer change if the assault and murder took place years apart? Under what circumstances would it be wrong to kill your assailant? So yeah, this is another unfortunate case. It was another case that was like this that happened, and that woman actually did end up going to jail for killing the person who like raped her and had like her captured for a long time. I don't know exactly how long this was happening to this a particular individual, this young woman, right? She's in her 20s, she's like 23 now, but like the murder happened, she was 17. Like I don't know how long she had been trafficked, and I don't know how brutal it was. I can't judge any of that stuff. But like I'm willing to bet it was pretty bad to drive this young lady to like murder a man. Like we have it on, and we know she was assaulted. We have apparently it's on video camera, so there's video evidence of that, and the prosecution isn't denying that she was assaulted. But still, she is going to be facing charges. Still, she actually has to defend herself, and still she might lose and spend like 10 years in prison. Like after having dealt with all that. So is that justice? And are there points where it would be justice? Like, are there situations where you'd say, yeah, it actually makes sense that we would lock a woman away who's been assaulted, or not even just a woman, like a man, anyone who's been assaulted in that way, after defending themselves. So, we'll get started.
I know you. Can I go first?
Go ahead, Bam.
Okay, my camera's wonky because Prime's making me fix it, which made it worse. So y'all don't judge me. I still gotta figure out what the F is going on. So there's there's a lot of details with the situation that are more complicated than at face value. So was she a child that was sex trafficked? Yes, by definition. What that means is she was under 18. She was 17 years old, which makes her a child, and she was trafficked, as in he paid for the Uber ride, paid for Uber rides to his house, which traffic is just transporting from one location to another. Was any of their interactions non-consensual? Like in the sense of like, did she not want to have sex with him? That doesn't seem to be the case. It's non-consensual in the fact of like she was underage, so she can't give consent to an adult. It seems that they had a mutual sexual relationship. She met him through Backpage. She was a child, I guess, prostituting basically. She said that she had a boyfriend, but she also was talking to this guy, and they had some level of relationship. It seems like they were, I wouldn't say close, but like, yeah, she was never she wasn't necessarily in fear from this man. But that doesn't take away that he's a bad person and does a lot of other bad things with other kids. She just had no idea any of those things were happening. All these things came up basically after the murder. And basically what ended up happening in this case was she went to his house. Apparently it was like every investigator seems to point to it being premeditated. She took a gun from her she got from her brother and a canister of gasoline to his house, shot him twice in the head. Shot him twice in the head and stole his car, stole his BMW because her brother steals cars. She drove to a different city. She was like posting pictures on Facebook Live, like with the gun, and gave her brother the car and like was kind of bragging about it. Yeah, I think it's an unfortunate situation of a girl who's lived a decently rough life, who made some bad choices. But all the information related to the case seems to be that she did intentionally, premeditatedly kill this man. It's not really related to. It's not that similar to me to Kyle Rittenhouse at all, and it's not similar to the other girl. I can't think of her name. Who also
Cynthia Brown.
Yeah, it's not similar to Cynthia Brown's case either. That's it.
I appreciate the clarification, Bam, because I couldn't find any details on that.
So
yeah, I'll post the link too.
Yeah, please. Solus.
Well, I'm not gonna lie, that changes quite a bit. And if I'm not mistaken, she was on bond when this all happened, right? This entire murder happened while she was basically on bond. If I'm not mistaken, right?
For domestic violence.
Yeah.
No, for something else. But here, like the police were on her ass, and she was on bond when this happened, right?
She was on bond. No, she was on bond for the murder, and then like as the reason her bail parameters were that like she can't commit a crime, but then she got like cited for domestic violence, and then they were going to take her back because of that. Yeah.
Okay. Well, how does anyone know how old this gentleman was?
34.
Wait.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ! Well, oh God, that's fucking gross.
Wait, hold on. According
to 34 at the time of the alleged.
I mean, well, then he was always 34 because he's dead.
No, I mean,
like
I shouldn't have laughed. Why did that nigga say that? I shouldn't have. Not even funny.
He's not always 34 because it could be that he's 34.
He's
now.
dead. If you die in 2018 and you're 34 years old, you're always 34 years old.
No, I asked him. No, I was asking. I meant like I just wanted to know how old he was when they whenever this transaction they had of prostitution happened. I was wondering like what was his age? Was he around the same age or whatever? But no, this I'm with Bam. This doesn't sound like the Cynthia Brown situation at all. That just sounds like premeditated murder with reckless abandon. Like I don't even.
That was Cynthia Brown too, though.
She was like fearing for her life.
Well, yeah, but it was unreasonable. He was asleep.
Yeah, I don't know if I would. The idea of like, you know what I'm saying, like sitting around thinking about how you're gonna do it, killing them, bragging about it. Yeah.
That's what she did.
Yeah, you didn't hear what Ben said.
Oh man, I can't.
I posted a link you can read. It goes
you gotta subscribe to goddamn Washington Post to read it.
That's what I said. Like if you, I think that killing somebody that has sexually assaulted you is a moral gray area for me personally. I don't know if I would morally condemn somebody that killed someone that did something that fucked up to them, but at the same token in time, in this case, like this don't even. this seems like just an unfortunate situation, and it ended in somebody being brutally murdered in a reckless fashion. Yeah, I don't got much on that one. I ain't gonna hold you. Bam fucked me up with that. I got I gotta change my whole perspective on it.
Okay, yeah. So
How
let's
about
go.
Sam? Yeah. Don.
Let's go to Don.
This one really kind of fucked me up. Because always the things about self-defense are always tricky. In my state specifically, they are really hard on self-defense. In Massachusetts, they have arguments against you even taking somebody's life when they're intruding in your home. So I know it's not like that in other states, but that's the perspective I'm coming from. So a case like this where there is evidence to say that it was premeditated. She got the gun from her boyfriend, from what I heard, and she was worried about protecting herself. I heard differently, but yeah. And then another thing is this guy was a monster in my opinion. The guy that she killed was a monster. He was actually attained or whatever by the police for having child pornography on his hard drives. He was involved in dark web websites that would solicit trafficking, and they had proof of that. And he's a monster. But are we allowed to kill monsters? Is vigilante justice okay? I think that's going to be that's kind of what I would like to talk about. Because I think we can expand this out to what does it really mean to protect people? And I think that this woman, she was a black woman. She is a black woman, sorry. And black women have a different relationship with with sex work, and they face certain challenges with the police. And she's in a precarious state. And do we award her any benefit for that state that she's in when judging her morality for killing this what I would call monster?
Thank you. Don, thank you for getting those 2 subs, and Bam, thank you for giving that extra sub as well. Yeah. Okay, let's go to our friend Smooth.
Okay, I had to look at this link. All right, so she was 16 when she met him, and he was 33. Randy was arrested. All right, he sexually abused her, right? Whether by purchase or not, that's what they're saying here. He sexually abused her, filmed it, and then was arrested in February of 2018 for child sexual assault, and then released without bail, which is insane. And he remained free for 3 months. Look, at this point, she can do whatever she wants to.
Fuck him up.
She can do whatever she can do whatever she wants to him, bro.
Sorry.
She can do whatever she wants to. I don't care. I'm not going to defend his right to life at all. He did this to other black girls too. Just because she was the one to take him out, no, I don't care. Like that's not murder to me. Like she was a victim, you know what I'm saying? And like whether you want to give her like man, I forget what it's actually called or whatever when people go through this or whatever, there's a term for this. And she just end up snapping on him and end up killing him.
A crime of passion?
Like no, not a crime of passion though.
It's called an affirmative it's called an affirmative defense. It's called an affirmative defense.
Yeah. Thank you, bro. Yeah, because she's suffering a crime and he has all this footage and all this other stuff. Like it's bad. Like this is a bad situation. Like so for her to off him, you know what I'm saying? Now whether she went there intentionally to do it or not, you know what I'm saying? Like whether she felt blackmailed and had to go to his house, like whatever compelled her to be there, and then she ended up killing him. I don't care. I'm done.
The intention, period, point blank, doesn't matter.
Not at all. I don't care whether she meant it or not.
All right, go ahead, Pace.
I think this is it's a difficult case to adjudicate because again, given the crimes of the accused, the dead guy, um, with them having the information and then her having her history, it causes an issue. The problem that she's facing and what's different and what's so different from her case being considered a self-defense case is there was nothing to be in self-defense of because she returned there with the intent to kill. If it cannot be considered self-defense if you were not physically there, being restrained, and then you shoot the person. That her going there to his home with the intention to kill him changes everything for that. So it is murder. However, how you would find the means to make this amicable for her in court, it's going to be different. Depends on how the defense is going to do it. I think a plea by a case of insanity would probably be her
The best one.
way to go. But at the end of the day, regardless of what has been done, you don't have the right to take the law into your own hands. Even for something as heinous as this, when you have been removed from that situation, and it looks like the authorities may not have been doing their due diligence, but if I were her in her situation and I had an opportunity to remove myself from that, I would have tried my best to go out another way and make my voice heard in other ways to try to get this guy and other people like him removed. Because I'm pretty sure, because of her connection to him, um, if he were still alive, they would have been able to use her as a witness to trace some of these other people that he may have been cooperating with on the dark web and probably get a lot of them. So if it were me, if I were in her shoes, not thinking in the same sense, I would probably have tried to find as many resources that the law can afford to try to help those other people in different ways.
And finally, let's go to D10 Dream.
All right. So I don't think this is analogous to Rittenhouse at all. Number one, because Rittenhouse was clear cut, shown on video that he was in immediate danger. And I have not seen anything that said that she was in immediate danger, like somebody was like grabbing her gun or rushing, charging at her, about to hurt her in the next few seconds, which what happened with Raquel Rittenhouse. I do think that it seems like the article is suggesting that the reason that she killed him is because she was sex trafficked. It sounds like it was revenge, right? And I don't think revenge in general is something that's okay, at least from a societal standpoint, because that would look like a lot of vigilante justice. That would look like people don't get their time in court. A lot of things can happen from that. We can discuss further. But I do think there is a valid argument if she was like a good person before, and then as soon as she got trafficked, like her mind was so warped that she became like, this evil person, or not evil, but this violent person, and wanted to kill because of the sex trafficking, and that's why she killed him. Like that's a good argument in terms of of pleading insanity, but pleading insanity also does not mean that she's gonna get away like scot free. It just means that she's not going to prison, but probably into a mental asylum, which is probably better for her. And yeah, if the murder took place way longer than the assault, I do think it's a problem. I think that you have to.
Sorry.
Yeah, I think that if you, if something happened to you and you were left unharmed, and then let's say you were unconscious, then you woke up, you have the duty to flee or to tell the police, not to look for who did it to you and then kill them, right? Tell the police so the right thing could be done in terms of having a record on this person, and maybe other people will be like, hey, look, he did it to me too. But now that the person's dead, like less evidence can be gathered and stuff like this. So when you kill somebody, you have one less witness, one less person that's involved in a crime to potentially help other people that are also involved in crime. So when people kill somebody out of revenge, it is a selfish manner, and it's hard to defend in a societal sense. But on the individual standpoint, if in a vacuum, it could be justified, of course.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so I really want to point out to everybody that she was 14 when they first met. All right, and he gave her $250 for their first meeting, and 100 times. Nah, I'm reading the article. I went further down. There was 14. Okay, then he suggested when she suggested he find older girls, he was like, I'm into the bodies of young girls or whatever, blah blah blah. And then in December of 2017, she ran away from home due to whatever home issues she had going on, and moved in with him. So from what looks like, because she was 16 when they met.
No, I think you might be mixing up a boyfriend. She met a. You talking about? I think you're mixing up her boyfriend.
No, the girl said Villar paid her $250 for the first time they met when she was 14. That's not the boyfriend.
I read 3 different articles. I know she. I'm
reading the one you just posted. It said
the one I sent is posted said 16. Well,
no, if you go further down, it says the girl met Villar, the dead man, paid her $250 when she was 14. I'm reading verbatim. And then in December of 17, she ran away from her home, so she's 15 years old, and moved in with him. And he gave her money, took her shopping, took her out to dinner with his mother. Like, that's crazy.
What is mother?
Literally on the first page it says when Crystal was 16, she met a 33-year-old man.
No.
It says that she was 16 when she was accused of murdering him. So she murdered him at 16.
No, she murdered him at 17. It was like I'm looking like this literally at the top of the page. When Cristal was 16, she met a 33-year-old man named Randy
looking at the top of the page.
Why would that? The article is not consistent. Like I posted the article.
It's not. This article is very consistent. I'm literally just scrolling, and as you keep scrolling, I don't know. You might need to subscribe to the Washington Post so you can read the whole thing.
Yeah, I'm saying, and it says 16.
Wait. Read the sentence.
14.
Hold on. Let's because you guys are. I heard 2 different sentences.
Control F. Yeah.
Bam. Read the sentence and then Smooth read the sentence.
When Cristal was 16, she met a 33-year-old man named Randy Villar. It's literally at the top of it. Like I said, so again, I posted it. I had read through most of it. It references 16 multiple times. Like I said, I don't even know where it says 14.
Okay. Now I'm gonna read this. The girl eventually told police she met Villar the year before when he responded to an ad on Backpage.
Wait a minute.
Get all the stuff about Backpage.com, and then it says the girl said Villar paid her $250 for sex the first time they met when she was 14. Now, in some odd instance, if this is a different girl, that's crazy. That's even crazier.
Oh yeah, there was a different girl. The girl that I mean, there's multiple girls. Like I'm not saying he's a good person. I don't know which part you're referencing. Let's see. The girl eventually. Oh yeah. This is talking about a separate girl. I remember.
This is a separate girl.
Talking about a court. Oh, okay. Because it would sound like it was talking about the girl that was in court.
No, that was the runaway girl. Yeah, this girl, like girl we're talking about was never a runaway.
If you scroll up, there's like a whole list of not scroll up or if you scroll down, like they got like a whole list of girls, right? They show them.
Yeah, they're not releasing her name because like she's a minor, but like I think she's probably still a minor, and they say they typically don't release names of sexual assault girls, so that's why it doesn't say her name. But like if you read context, it's talking about a different girl. The only reason name is public is because she's connected to the murder.
Yeah. It's a different girl.
Okay.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay.
Cool. But he did abuse a 14-year-old girl. That much is true.
Yeah.
This is.
Yeah, he did. He was worse. Worse. He did with a bunch of girls. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Man.
Now again, like I said, I'm not like I said, it's not defending his humanity. I'm just saying in the terms of the law, did what she do seem to be considered premeditated murder?
Well,
Probably.
it's definitely premeditated. But her case, and to Dream's point earlier when I was talking about the insanity case, because of her youth, she has a greater chance of it being considered an insanity case because we don't really know. I mean, she may have lived in a neighborhood that was not preferred or have some bad things of her family, but because of her youth, we don't know how she might have been affected differently had she not been involved with this individual in sex trafficking. So that could have caused damage to her development growing up. So there's an even greater case for her to use the insanity case to that because of her youth and his effect on that. But I mean, it's a tragedy that she has to go through this. But I mean, this is what happens when correct justice hasn't been done appropriately to this individual, whatever his name is. But that's what happens. You wind up with people like this young lady here who wind up doing something that they shouldn't have done, and now they wind up being the source of the justice that should have been given to the person they killed.
Wait, he was let off for it? He was a free man, or was he going through the process of being put in jail?
It was an ongoing case.
From what Bam said, he had got out, released on no bail for it, and they were investigating things of that nature.
Mhm.
Me, like I said, he was out on bail when she killed him.
Mhm.
Or on no bail, should I say? He was when she killed him. So if he had been properly arraigned and detained as he should have been for these types of crimes, considering the fact that they did have evidence of that when they went through his computers and stuff, uh, then this would have been completely prevented. He would have been able to face the justice that he should have been given by the court of law, and she wouldn't be in a predicament where this would have happened for her to now be facing the justice that should have been granted to him.
Mhm.
But let's. I think that brings up an important, not important, but an interesting question. Like, let's say somebody did go through all the relevant legal avenues to give somebody justice, to like hold somebody accountable, and then like they made a mistake, right? Or like not they, but like the justice system just found this person innocent. Does a person then have the moral permissibility to then like go kill that person because they think
Morally?
morally, let's say like somebody should be in jail but they're not for murder or for sexual abuse, many women, many children, they got out scot-free.
Could we have a real life Batman?
No, we can't. I mean, if you
you're
wind
the
up doing
victim.
that,
You're the
yeah,
victim.
even if you are the victim, it doesn't make it. Look, I agree with the sentiment that his life is forfeit because of what he's done to this young lady, but even doing that, if you have in her case, if you have already been separated from the issue and you have the option not to go back and be involved in it, you
No.
forfeit.
Again,
You don't have.
she wasn't actually assaulted. Like she was assaulted by being a minor. But
DeAndre,
she never says that they had unconsensual sex.
I understand that.
No, she did. She did. She said, "I didn't want to have sex that night."
Well, that was her argument. Instead, like she was saying that the reason she killed him is because she thought he was trying to force sex. But like it doesn't. According, like I said, just the detectives and stuff doesn't seem to be the case. Like they're saying that like she's trying to get away from it.
All I'm saying is
you're answering a different question that I proposed. So my question wasn't, oh, and you're removed from the situation. My question is, you believe wholeheartedly that he's going to harm someone else and within recent times. So this is self-defense, not for yourself, but for whoever you think is going to harm next.
No, it still wouldn't be permissible because regardless of being able to find a pattern of events from this individual, you can't predict the future. You have to leave that up to the legal system because if you try to
it's already left.
Well, if you try to play the master of destiny, it's going to come back and bite you in the ass because at the end of the day, what the law might find him culpable, but they might not find him guilty because they weren't able to compile enough evidence to prove or the case, or maybe the person who was accusing the individual wasn't able to provide sufficient proof for the law to make that determination. But if you go and commit murder to try to protect other people, now all of that comes on you, and then you have to prove without a shadow of a doubt that he was going to go do this to other
Well,
people.
now you're making a legal argument instead. Again, I'm like,
Morally.
is there a world, Dream, to answer your question? Is there a world where like I can see morally justified for sure. But like I said, I'm an institutionalist, and I don't believe we can build a society where people move that way. I feel like the law has to be
No, you're right
the law
about
has
that.
to be the ultimate authority at the end of the day. But sure, like if a guy's like a guy's woman's rapist like gets arrested and he says, "When I get out of here, I'm showing up and I'm killing you," like you better believe it.
Yeah, that's
and
different.
like he ends up getting off, and she's like, "Oh God." I'm gonna she freaks out like I gotta go kill him first because I can't sleep at night knowing that he's like out there. If she goes and does it and that's her story, like is it
different.
morally permissible? Like is it moral?
I
Like
think so.
sure, I can wrap up my head around it, but yeah, our society,
Yeah,
like you still probably go to jail.
I agree with you on that, Bam. I think that would become different because now she has a meaningful threat against her life that she believes because he's shown that he was willing to abuse her body in the past before, and
She should probably go to jail.
if she believes that, yeah, so her,
Yeah.
and in this case, I don't want her to go to jail, but given the evidence that you presented about her bragging about it and posting it on social media and things of that nature, it seems as something that she was championing, and it's going to be really, really hard to find a defense for her not to suffer some period of penance.
But why
Yeah,
wouldn't you
hold on,
champion it?
but
Why
she-
wouldn't you champion it?
But yeah, I'll let Solis go first.
No, I was just about to say, on a moral level, I don't think anybody will morally condemn somebody for killing somebody if the justice system failed. I don't know. I don't even, man. Do you think even as a society we would give a fuck? Like if we knew dead to rights, if we knew dead to rights, this person did something, they raped insert person, they did whatever horrible crime exists in your mind, and they for whatever reason got off. Do you even think as a society anyone would give a fuck?
Brock Turner, what if he got killed?
I don't think most society would
That's a
care.
Stanford
Like
swimmer.
it's just like
Yeah.
we don't care about
Even
the life
even
of
the
this
judge was
individual.
like, "Yeah, I know you did it, but we're gonna give you a scot free
No,
because you're
again,
a swimmer."
I understand individuals being able to like find solace in the victim, but like understand them. But like I said, I would want our institutions to be held to a different standard.
But
Like I would-
for one thing, I just gotta say that like those institutions fail women all the time, right? Like, we know women are harassed and threatened constantly by some individuals, right? And they document this and they show it to police officers, and they said, well, we can't do anything unless he like actually comes and assaults you or kills you. That like usually the first time the legal system acts is after you're dead, for these victims. So like I think there actually needs to be some sort of reformat of the system, a rethinking of how we handle these cases, to address that, because a lot of women are scared. They're like, I literally document this harassment and like this calls for violence and a whole list of things that happen, like the rape threats and all that thing that this guy is doing, but like the law has nothing for me until like he has his like hands around my neck, so there's that. But I think that with this case, I think it's like what she did was more or less fine. Like it doesn't bother me that it was premeditated. I don't think it should, like, yeah, you can plan to end the life of a person who has been assaulting. Like, you can plan on that. Sometimes it takes planning to end the person who has been hurting you. Now the problem is like, was she actually being hurt, right? So like, I guess the thing I'm pushing back especially is on the premeditated equals like that this is a problematic crime, right? I don't think that matters if it was premeditated, like in and of itself. Now, like, was she actually being hurt? In this situation, well, according to our justice system, yes, because she's a kid, right? If you say that, like, as a child, then you you can't consent. And it seems like the justice system is trying to have it both ways. Because if she really can't consent, that means that she was raped, right? It doesn't matter if she said yes at some point in time, right? That's statutory rape, no matter what. And the guy would have gotten years in prison for that. And so, like, if she was, so if the justice system says that some great crime occurred between these two, let's ignore everything else. Ignore all the other girls that he hurt, right? Let's focus on that relationship and the scant details that we have here. If that was, quote unquote consensual from her part, well then, but it actually doesn't matter, right? It never matters in terms of the law, right? Like, you go to jail if you have sex with a minor who's, like, quote unquote consenting. So then, so if that crime has happened, then she's defending herself from that crime, right? From an assailant who's done it multiple times, right?
I was about to say, I can read a text thread that I'm curious to change your mind. So the text thread of literally like a few before the situation was, I'm finna get a BMW. Her friend asks when. She says soon. So then the night of the crime at 10:42, she texts her boyfriend, when you want me to do it, bae? At 11:09, she said, nothing. I'm finna do it right now, though. 11:13, I'm finna do it. 12:03, this is the last text. Just order some pizza. I'ma wait. It's blood splattered everywhere. I looked it up on Google, and it's a pillow in it. I'm finna wait until they asleep. I don't know. I'm about to say it's a short, whatever. They probably just killed somebody and they're probably texting sporadically. But basically, this, like I said, it didn't seem like I'm defending myself. Like I said, she took an Uber trip to his house to steal his car.
That's why I asked Smooth earlier.
That makes him also a bad person.
That's why I asked Smooth earlier if intention means anything, because it could have been like, if you intend to you're like, well, I want to do something criminal and I'm gonna go do it to a piece of shit who probably deserves it. Does that change anyone's mind?
So okay, so to answer that, I feel like with what he did and how he did it, I don't particularly care. If you're asking me, just me myself, like, I don't care whether it was premeditated or not. Like, if whatever, because I don't know what her mindset is, besides, like, oh yeah, I'm finna go steal his car. Like, I don't know if she was even, like, upset about the situation or not. Like, I don't know what all went into her mindset on top of all of that. Like, if she wanted restitution, to like, oh, I'm gonna steal this BMW as restitution for what I've gone through. You know what I'm saying? Like, if she's, like, trying to get on a better path and for some reason her mind just went to some demented place where she's like, oh, I'm gonna kill him too. Like, it's like, okay, like, yeah, like, killing him is wrong, but it's not wrong because he already, like, his life to me was already forfeit, like, by his own actions that he already committed against that person, not to mention all the other things that he already did. Like,
I'm saying, it's like, would you view her any different if it was really like main course car, side kill him?
So you don't bring a weapon that you don't intend to use.
That's assuming you're a smart criminal. That's assuming you're an intelligent criminal.
No, that's not assuming you're an intelligent criminal, because dumb criminals don't bring weapons at all. So
it's different conversation.
Totally different conversation. But needless to say, like, I don't care about the premeditation of it all. Like, because once she's already a victim, you know what I'm saying, and she's basically just getting back at a perpetrator. Like,
what if she doesn't feel that way?
What
if she doesn't feel that way though?
She's underage.
No, but what if she didn't feel that way?
It doesn't matter. That's not what morally matters here. Like, she's a child. You're the adult in the situation. you're supposed to not be involved.
No, I understand. I'm saying if she didn't feel like a victim, right? If she felt like
When you're older, does that change
here's the
everything?
thing. Here's the
It's
thing.
the R. Kelly
Whatever's
physical
in her
involvement,
head,
yeah.
because she has a pimp, right? So whoever is in her head that's telling her this, that has her feeling like this is the way to go and this is what to do. You know what I'm saying? And like I can't fault her for it
What, was her
because it's not
boyfriend
her
a pimp too?
original mindset. I don't think she got with her boyfriend and was like, "Yo, I'm gonna go sell myself to other men." Like I don't think that's how that works. Like that's not how you get in relationships. You don't get in a relationship with somebody to go have sex with other people. Like that just doesn't add up logically. So I
Okay.
think whoever got in her head, like they also play a big part in this too.
Dream.
I think the biggest question is whether or not it has nothing to do with premeditation, because you can defend yourself premeditatively, meaning that, hey, I'm gonna prepare myself so I'm able to defend myself if the time comes for me to in order to defend myself. So the question then becomes, hey, even if it's premeditated, was she in any immediate harm or danger? Was she in any immediate harm or danger, or was she in any inevitable danger? Right? Then it wouldn't be immoral if she were to kill him. But that's the whole thing that's in question, right? Like after he came out of jail, like on bond with no bail, I mean, did she have to go see him? Was that mandatory?
And
That's
wait,
probably
this
her
has nothing to do with
biggest
anything. She's about 22, 23 right now, right?
Yeah, but yeah.
I figured. Okay.
But see, that's her biggest problem right there, Dream, is regardless of what she did, her problem comes from the fact that she was already separated, removed from the situation where harm could have been done to her. And her reasoning, at least according to the text, was she accepted his money to go back to her home with the intention to kill him so they could and take his car. That's what puts her in trouble in this case, because this isn't the fact that, well, I have no choice but to accept him and go back to his home, and I'm bringing the gun with me in case he just tries to rape me and I'm going to defend myself. This isn't that case. She accepted it knowing it with the intention that this is what she was going to do, and unfortunately, you can't do that. Even if this individual deserves it, under the law, you just can't do that.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, and if he did try to rape her, then I think her killing her makes sense. That's okay. But whether or not he actually did that is the whole thing.
The problem is the text again. The text says she said, "I'm going to wait until he's asleep and I'm going to do it." That's the problem. Her problem is her text. Her own words cause this problem for her.
If she had a viable way of escape, and she
didn't have to go. She didn't have to go there in the first place. That was her problem.
Right. But but that doesn't matter. Let's say because a lot of people don't have to go a lot of places, but it doesn't mean that they forfeit their right to self-defense.
I'm saying what you're asking for is unprovable. Like you're saying, if did he do something? Because that's by her words. Like her story says that, like, oh, I got over there, for whatever reason she was there.
Yeah, and it's up to the jury. It's up to the jury.
Like,
it's up to the jury to decide whether or not they believe her story.
But like all the broader context around it seems to point to that's probably not what the case.
Well, I mean, I'm not.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to engage with.
Well, then that's proof.
Well, that's the
in the
problem.
Context of the court of law is about.
We're her jury in this
reasonable
situation for just from getting this information. Now, the real jury will have much more information on this, but her problem will be the same thing, trying to convince an entire panel of us that even though the guy did heinous things, that she didn't do anything wrong. And the problem is having those messages and having done it the way that she did it. It's going to be hard for a jury to say that she did nothing wrong.
Can I pose an idea then? Okay, because I'm trying to like morally meditate on this because it kind of fucks me at the we're around the same age. What I'm like morally trying to boggle with is if that young lady felt like that man was a piece of shit and needed to get removed from this earth, and in some form of vengeance, either for herself or what he would go on to do in her belief, she ended his life. I think that is an open shut case morally. I don't think anyone in society would give a fuck. I think most people are like, well, he got what he deserved. Who cares? But let's give another scenario. What if that was just in her, like she wanted to have a BMW. She thought of somebody she could go do this to, and they were involved in a certain lifestyle. She could have fucked them in it, but that was just in her period. Like she might have gone and do that to somebody else. Like that's just what she happened to find somebody that we don't give a fuck if they disappear. That's what I'm saying. Like if it's the case that that's just if that's just who she is, like she would have done that to somebody else, but she happened to have somebody where she can do it and we don't care. I don't know that I think that that's okay. It's like if I'll give you a story of that. I had a friend of mine, right, who when back in 2020 when there was riots and shit, he looted a store. Well, he didn't, but the Booper niggas did, but he was a part of it. And the store was racist. And I mean classically hurry up and buy ass or racist ass, they don't belong in the black community. You can imagine, right? And that store got looted. Them niggas didn't care that it was racist. Them niggas just wanted to loot. And they looted that place. You know what I'm saying? Like the intention of it changes how I view it, right? Because if you walk into a situation, you're looking for some kind of retribution, you want a ill from society, that's one thing. But if you're like, well, I wanted to do this anyway, I'm just happy I get to do it to you because nobody cares. I don't know that that's okay.
Like minutes to society.
Good job. Good point. Salient.
But yeah, because it like all of these things we're talking about, the things he's done to other people, like she was aware of none of these going into the case, and she admitted as much. Like she didn't know he had messed with any other young girls. Like none of these things were like part of her equation.
And that's what makes it. That makes it even more difficult for her. Like I said, her best bet is her age, being as young as she was, having to be used.
Corrupted. Her mind's corrupted.
As she got older, she realized, this isn't something that's right. Blah blah blah. I don't know what was going on in her mind, but just assuming that she's getting older, she's like, I shouldn't have been subjected to that as a young person, and blah blah blah. And she's thinking, I have to find a way to stop this from happening to other people.
So her defense, the lawyer ended up using, like in the actual case, which is ongoing, is apparently she said that her mother was abused by men growing up, and basically they tried calling the police, and the police, like, her mother still got abused. So when she got into a situation with things, because they were like, "Oh, okay, like why didn't you turn to police?" She just said that she was coming from a household that doesn't believe in police.
Did they ask her why she sold his car? Did they ask about the Grand Theft Auto part? Was there an explanation for that?
She probably just said she panicked.
So,
I haven't read the specific, but like,
she cut off his dick.
Reflects what I said previously, right? That like women will go. I mean, even when they have the hands laid on them, right? Usually the police don't act until like there's a dead body. So that happens a lot, especially with women of lower economic resources. But Smooth, you go first, and then I have something I want to say.
Oh, okay. So what I wanted to say here is, like, if I was to like just holding everything true, right? Looking at everything at face value, because of her age when the crime was committed, I'm not okay with putting her in jail for 15 years. Like
I think she's facing
like
life. Actually,
I would.
Yeah,
she's facing life.
Yeah.
Life
might be
maximum.
20.
Yeah. Life is the maximum, but judge has the discretion to use the minimum sentence.
Oh God, man! Then I hope she's not found guilty then, because I don't feel like I don't feel like I can fault her. Like I feel like at the end of the day, there's so much that happened to her, where she got in this situation. I'm okay with her getting help, because I believe that's what she actually needs. She needs real help, like actual like mental health help.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm okay with her paying her debt back to society through community service or whatever else that she has to do. You know what I'm saying? From the crime itself, but I'm not okay with sending her away to jail to rot, basically. Because
I don't disagree.
That's not going to help.
But that's my fundamental position on imprisonment. I'm not big on punishment for anyone. Like, so I don't think the punishment helps her. Like, I think that there's like she doesn't like premeditated or not, it doesn't. It seems like she's a redeemable person that could be a part of society in some way. Now, does like I said, does that help look intense? Does she get to walk away scot free from these situations? No, but
I think
yeah, I'm
her
not in
biggest
favor of life
problem,
sentences.
her biggest problem in that situation is the same thing with the guy who jumped the fucking judge's bench. It's the fact that we know that she committed a crime while she was on bond for a crime, and then she goes and commits another violent domestic case, and it creates a cycle of repetition, and in some states, you know, three domestic violence or three violent squabbles is enough, and the judge's hands are tied. So for her case, I hope that's not the case with her. I hope that it's something that the judge can give her a concurrent sentence, and which would allow her to effectively serve all of those consecutively and then be done with it in a couple of years, or better yet, defer her to some type of mental counseling as a form of her restitution. But it's like for her, with the stuff that she's done, and it's because she's young and she's stupid. But with the stuff that she's done, it makes it difficult for anybody in a legal case to ignore the evidence, and that's essentially what the jury would have to do to find no fault with her, is to ignore the evidence, and it's going to be very difficult for them to do that.
I was just about to say, I don't think that the domestic shit doesn't honestly even do anything for me. If you like let somebody that comes from a hellhole back into a hellhole and they do something fucked up, if you let an addict out, right, that hasn't really gone through rehab and then they reoffend doing drugs, that doesn't move me at all.
Sorry, I just want to recenter this for a second. But before that, I gotta do something extremely. Sorry, someone asked. I did. Sorry, hold on. I gotta wait till people come back into the ad breaks, because someone asked me a question here, and I'm gonna I want to answer that. Right. So
This guy.
1 second. Hey. I'm not sure if you can hear me now, but hello, Emily. He says, where are the conservatives on this panel? Conservatives don't like. Well, first of all, we have
Conservatives aren't black.
DeAndre.
We got DeAndre.
Oh yeah,
Faze.
Yeah, DeAndre right here.
And Bam. And Bam is.
Yeah, right.
No, absolutely. He's a sexist.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
DeAndre
In
Faze
relationships.
But generally, conservatives don't last long. They like get really upset about something and they leave. But we're always looking for more of them. So Emily, if you know a conservative and you want them to join, then send them my way. If you happen to be black, Emily, you can join this panel if you want. If you happen to be conservative or not, whatever. Or if you're not black, then we have our panel on Monday where you could also join, be a part of that. But yeah, that's why you don't see many more conservatives, because they just don't last very long. Anyway, I gotta be beyond that. I gotta be petty for a second. Hey, Bam.
What up?
Hey, Bam. Define trafficking for me.
Oh man, without using the exact language, it's basically moving someone from one place to another.
Nope.
Wrong, nigga. Wrong. Nigga. Wrong. Like, let's start with the article that you gave me. All right. Under federal law, all children who are bought or sold for sex are trafficking victims, regardless of the circumstances. And this follows the previous paragraph that says, talking about Centonia Brown. Brown's story, along with the downfall of financier Jeffrey Epstein and singer R. Kelly, revealed that most child sex trafficking actually looks like in America. Vulnerable kids, not kidnapped and held captive, not chained and smuggled across borders, but groomed by someone they trust and manipulated into believing they are the ones to blame for the abuse. Not people who have been moved, just people who have been bought and sold for sex, okay? And then
wait, what do you think? What did I say was incorrect with the definition you just laid out?
You said
moved. All they need is just to be moved.
Yeah,
that's all. That's what you said.
Yeah, but but I'm saying it doesn't take any like they don't have. You're saying that like they can't consent to it. I'm saying that like any like
I didn't say that.
a part
I
of the
didn't say that.
definition
I didn't
is
say anything about
anyone
consent.
that's moved for sex, anyone that's paid for sex. Like
No,
all of
that's
this is
No,
Yes, that's
you
a
don't,
part
what
of
you
it.
said.
you don't
That-
need to be moved. Period. That doesn't
I-
have anything to do with trafficking.
did that. What did I preface when I said that was like without saying every exact word? Like I'm sure there's going to be exceptions.
You definitely
Generally.
said all you need. This is what you said. All you would need in order to be trafficked is to be moved, from
Remove,
one
and that
place
would be
to another.
true.
No,
If you were
it's
moved
not.
for
No,
sex,
you're
that's
wrong.
not- that's not
It's
all. That's not all of sex
No,
trafficking. but that-
You said just that alone meets the minimum
Yes,
requirements
it
of
does meet
trafficking,
the minimum
but it
requirement.
doesn't.
No,
but
it
No, it
doesn't.
doesn't.
So
Yes, if
It
you
doesn't.
if you
if you move for a
if
person
you
from one
move
place to
somebody
another,
No.
if you
Listen,
move if you
listen.
move somebody
let me-
across states for the
But-
purposes of sex,
That's
I'll say
sex
that.
trafficking.
Sorry, hold on. So
So
I
listen.
guess no,
Oh.
hold on here because here's the fight. Sorry, hold on before I expand this, right? So here's the fight that we're having, right? So it's
because I
So-
said she was sex trafficked. I never said she
So-
wasn't.
oh I didn't. No, I'm not talking about this particular case,
Oh,
right?
okay.
I'm bringing up a past conversation, right? When I told you that it's trafficking does not necessarily involve moving, right? It can involve moving them, right? It can be a part of the
Okay, so
crime,
that's
but
correct.
it doesn't have to be part of the crime.
I never
And
said
we
it had to be.
argued this for a half fucking hour, and
Oh,
eventually,
yeah.
Let me.
I
me
said,
just-
I
Now
told you I was
understand
gonna
what's
be petty.
happening. Now I
I
get what's
chose-
happening.
I told you I was
Yeah,
gonna be
yeah,
petty,
yeah.
right?
Prime,
Like-
let me help you out.
No, need
Oh,
help.
God.
No, I don't need any help. Right? Like, this is not this. It can involve being moved, but it's more than that, right?
Right. I didn't
Um,
say it. I didn't say this is everything that is trafficking and
No,
there's
no.
nothing else that exists.
No. Before, hold
You asked
on,
me a question on the fly.
no. Because I remember the previous conversation. You may not remember the previous conversation, but I remember the previous
I remember it.
conversation. Oh, you don't remember it. That's good.
I do
Well, I
remember
remember it. Don't worry. I'll remember it for you. And in that conversation, you're like, oh, no, like trafficking just means you have to move the victim. No, trafficking can be so much more than that. So my point had been is that you can have a person within the same city, within the same house, right? You never have to take them anywhere. You can go into their house and you can traffic them in their own house. And yeah, that's what you can do. And if you go to the Justice Department and read their definition, like it says like recruitment, harboring,
Transportation,
provisioning,
obtaining,
patronizing, or soliciting of a person for the purpose of the Commercial Sex Act, in which a commercial sex act is induced by force, fraud, or coercion. So just wanted you to know that you were
You're
wrong.
fighting ghosts.
A win is a
No,
win.
I'm fighting.
No,
A win is a win.
I'm fighting. You know what I'm fighting? I'm fighting your Mario Kart ghost, right? This is your track ghost from around. Because this is what our previous conversation was, and I'm bringing it back. All right, there we go.
Yeah.
So,
But
with that note-
honestly, Bam,
So-
hold on real
Win
quick,
is a
Bam.
motherfucking
Wait. So all I wanted to say is, bam. If you just grab a kid and you move them, like that's called kidnapping.
If it's for the purpose of sex, it's
The-
sex trafficking.
If you do it for the, yeah, I was about to say, if you do it for the purpose
But
of sex,
that
sex
but
trafficking.
yeah, right.
That
But
wasn't what you
that's-
said. Though.
But that's not what you said.
Like, okay, Solus. I'm not, again, these niggas is arguing with me. I have no idea what they're arguing. I don't even disagree with prime definition. Like, yeah, anything involving someone related to sex, sure, that's a form of sex trafficking.
Listen, this is what I asked because of what you said. I asked ChatGPT the question. But if sex trafficking only means transport from one place to another,
I
someone can
never
still
said
be,
only. Again, you're fighting
did.
ghosts.
someone can
No,
still
that's
be
what you
sex
said. We can roll back the tape.
We can rewind that. We can rewind.
Someone
the
can
chat.
still be.
You said what is sex trafficking? I was
Wait,
like,
can
involve moving somebody.
Wait.
from a place
If
to
I
another.
remember
never said this is
correctly,
the only
Pam
thing.
said all you have to do, right? The minimum required if you move somebody from one place to another, right,
Yeah.
for explicit sexual purposes, that meets the requirement of sex trafficking.
That
Doesn't
second
mean
part was
that
not
means
said.
the only
The
thing
second
that's
part-
sex
And
that-
it is somebody who has no dog in this fight. I interpret it as that to say is you don't even have to actually have sex with them. If you move them with the intent, you are sex trafficking.
But
That's,
hold on,
that's
hold
what
on.
I thought he was getting at. I don't.
But here's the most
You're saying
important
there's
part.
other things that are also.
Here's
sex
the most important part that Ban's missing. Most important part is through the use of force, fraud, or coercion. Because when I heard,
trafficking. I don't
he
think
just
that's necessary.
yes, it is necessary. Because
That's
when
the
I
People can consent to
definition.
be- No, people
No,
can
hold on.
consent.
here's what I'm trying to say. Because to me, it doesn't make sense
I
that
think that's
somebody.
what our fight was on.
Here's what I'm trying to say. To me, it doesn't make sense that somebody who pay for somebody's Uber to have sex with them because I've done that. Apparently, I'm trafficking some bitches over to my house to fuck them. That's what I'm hearing Bam trying to say. But obviously
Wait,
not.
where are we going?
I mean,
What I'm trying to say is
He's
they
saying that like if they consent to it, it doesn't count.
came over to my house and I paid for their Uber to have sex with me. I did not use
This was
force,
the fight.
fraud, or coercion.
This
right?
was a fight. People
That
can
was
consent
the
to
fight.
being
I
sex
just
trafficked.
want,
This
I
wasn't a
just
fight.
want to say this
No.
for the record, for the
said
FBI that's
commercial
listening,
sex.
he is not admitting to committing a crime. I want to repeat that.
Wait,
for the
wait,
FBI,
wait,
he
I want.
is
Yeah,
can
not
I think I can. I
admitting-
think I can extend the olive branch.
Guys, we can actually
Everybody
just look
but
at this
Razor would understand what I
definition,
said.
right? Human traffic, Dream. I don't know why you even. I don't, maybe you're trolling. I don't know.
I am trolling. Yes.
Okay, never mind. So we're gonna ignore that. But like I remember our previous conversation, and what you said, Bam, on the previous conversation, is that like, well, trafficking is moving them, and I'm like, hey, like that's a part of it, but it can be a part of it, but it doesn't have to be. Like you can just have a person within the same location. You don't actually have to move their body anywhere.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. So
traffic.
again, I don't know
Oh,
what you're
now
trying
you
to
don't.
the issue,
okay.
I
Now
never
you
disagree.
don't.
The issue
I
was
was saying
the conversation
previously-
before what the disagreement was on what Dream was talking about. He was saying that
It wasn't.
if someone consents to it, like, but he's like you move them,
It
but they move
wasn't.
with consent, then it's okay.
That's
I'm like,
not
no.
what no.
No.
Okay, then just have the conversation I'm
having
having now. I don't understand why you're trying to look in the past.
No, because I'm being.
Because
I'm
I
being
disagree.
petty.
I'm telling
Because
you you're wrong.
petty. That's what I'm being petty. That's what I'm
No.
doing.
Okay.
I'm being fucking petty.
Okay.
So
guys,
real quick, I think the main thing that's being lost here is no one would knowingly consent to being trafficked. Therefore, that's why the word coercion is there.
What do you
There's
mean?
no
Wait,
consenting.
wait. What do you mean? No one
Yeah.
I'm
knowingly
about to say
consent to be
there's a
trafficked?
lot of
prostitution is-
consenting prostitutes.
You could. That's
But
sex
listen.
trafficking.
No.
Prostitution
I
is sex
call it-
trafficking.
I think they call it sex workers now.
It's sex
No, but I'm saying no.
trafficking.
But if I pay a prostitute to go from Atlanta to Chicago,
Even
for us to
if
fuck-
they stay in Atlanta,
No,
it doesn't
that's
matter.
not
where
the
they
same.
live.
No,
That's not
I
the
don't
same
think it
thing.
is sex trafficking.
That's
That's just
not the same
paying for
thing.
You
prostitution.
think
That's
prostitutes are sex
that's process. No.
That's just paying
no,
for prostitution.
That's
The
process.
umbrella.
That's no.
Yeah, that
that's
would be considered
that's
soliciting
prostitution.
Yes,
Prostitution is
prosti-
under the
yeah.
umbrella of sex trafficking.
no.
I know.
it's
I was
not.
about to ask.
Guys,
Is it?
hold on. Guys, I don't say so. We don't have to make these things up, right? I'm
not
literally
making
looking
it
at I'm gonna put it in. I'll put it in our group DM, right? And
Yeah,
you guys
please.
can look at the definition with me, and so we don't have to like make this up, right?
Please
So let's
do.
just.
But you're looking at the one at justice.gov, right?
Yeah, right.
Prostitution.
Yeah,
So
we're
here
reading.
we
Yeah,
go.
we're
Let's
reading
go.
different one.
Let's go
Selling
through it, right?
oneself.
Human trafficking
This
is a
is
crime
crazy.
involving the exploitation for labor, services, or commercial sex. The Trafficking Victims Protection Act of 2000 and subsequent reauthorizations recognize and define two primary forms of human trafficking. Sex trafficking is the recruitment, harboring, transportation, provisioning, obtaining, patronizing, and soliciting a person for the purpose of the Commercial Sex Act, in which Commercial Sex Act is, and this part is important, is induced by force, fraud, or coercion, or in which the person is induced to perform such an act has not attained 18 years of age. So break that up into two, right? So if it's involving a child, no matter how they feel about it, that's trafficking, right? So that's one thing. But we're talking about an adult, right? It has to involve force, fraud, or coercion. Then that's when it's trafficking, right? If it doesn't involve that, if they consensually are doing that, then that's just soliciting prostitution.
And the reason why they say if you're a child, there's always going to be sex trafficking is because obviously you can't consent to it as a child legally, and so it would be force.
Okay.
It would be either those force, coercion, or anything, because under the law, children are not cognizant enough to know when they're being coerced to do something. We don't consider that at all.
Right, force or coercion.
Yeah, I don't know what the real restraint here is. I mean, it's just very simple. Like one's trafficking and one's not. That's just
But,
it.
What's
but
the
it literally,
definition?
because I was like, I looked up the forced fraud and coercion. It said in reality, fraud or coercion takes form in many different ways, and
Why are
it
you looking
rarely
up something other than the definition that we just read? Like, there's no need for
Because no,
subtext.
I'm expanding
because
on the definition. I'm
yeah,
saying
let's
because
say you should look up the definition of coercion and those other things, right?
right.
Wouldn't
That's
that
what I'm
be-
saying. So it says fraud is anything as simple as a broken promise,
Uh-huh.
the promise for a better life,
Yeah.
a safe space,
Uh-huh.
love, the money, a girlfriend, a boyfriend, coercion, anything that can be
That's the
drugs, threat of
easiest one to
harm,
prove.
Uh-huh.
finance,
Uh-huh.
blackmail, or just a desire for compensation.
Sure.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Would accepting money for sex not be a desire for compensation?
No. Fraud.
No,
No.
because see, if you are an
That's
adult
under the
and you're
definition of
That's
fraud.
under the definition of the coercion.
A I'm sorry.
coercion.
Yeah,
Coercion.
I don't. Yeah, I don't know how. Like, read that part again. Sorry.
Yes, this is. It can be something. Coercion falls under the concept of highly addictive drugs, threat of harm or violence for their family, blackmail, finance,
Yeah, you
or
can
the
coerce
desire
someone
for
with money.
compensation.
But no. You can coerce someone with want of money if they are in a tough position, right? And you're like, hey, I'm going to pay you to get out of this tough position, right? And so you do something that you don't otherwise want to do, right? But you're doing
there a
it for the
prostitute?
money.
Is it in a good
Bro,
financial
that's a
position in
job.
practice?
Oh my God, these niggas took it to court.
That's
Like,
also it's a
niggas
job.
took it to court.
Yeah, that like.
Like,
if-
are there
if I go look
high
at
other
it-
prostitutes that aren't in tough
so hold on.
financial positions?
We understand there's a level of coercion. Lefties talk about this all the time. There's a level of coercion within
Capitalism.
within capitalism. That's just how that works, yeah. But in this case, what we're talking about, like the way it's used, is that there's just like providing prostitution, and then separately from that, there's human trafficking. Right, like that, the coercion they're talking about for human trafficking, that's not simply giving out money. They have a separate crime for that. It's not under human trafficking.
Right.
Okay, so
because
do you think do you think there exists a pimp that's not a human trafficker?
No.
No.
Depends how you define
maybe
it.
not.
Depends how you-
Pimps by,
No, no, no,
pimps
it
by
depends-
nature.
It depends
Pimps
how
by
you define.
nature are human traffickers because pimps are forcing.
You know they haven't made any promises.
No, not
to
true.
do that.
No. It depends how you. The reason why it depends
What
how you
pimp
define
isn't
pimp.
forcing a
I'm
prostitute?
about to explain it to you. It depends how you define pimp because
Yeah.
what if a nigga was an OnlyFans manager? He managed like 20 bitches OnlyFans, right?
You
Them
be
bitches.
entertained.
That's not pimping because under the law,
That's-
if you're filming it and you're selling it, you're a porn star.
Right. So what I'm trying to say is.
So that's
Let it-
legal. That's
so
not
what,
pro-
what
that's
I'm
not
trying
pimping.
to. So what I'm trying to say is, you could sell sex and like have like a fan invitations over to your house, and that's prostitution, right? And then your manager could just be identified as a pimp, but really he's just managing your how do you say, your marketability, your DMs. Like he's a manager, not
It's not
necessarily
cool
a
in
pimp.
the streets, but if you take it to court, you're probably gonna get hit with.
No,
But-
you
but
probably
imagine-
are. But that's the thing. Like you can so like this is not like a new problem that you're talking about, right? Like what is a pimp, and are pimps necessarily a problem, right? Like a pimp can be a person who like manages their administrative task for a sex worker. right?
Exactly.
In fact, we had one, not a pimp, right? But a person who managed administrative tasks for sex workers on my panels, right? We were just talking about this on Monday, right? A person who used to come on, her name was Pep, right? And she talked about this on panel, so I'm not like revealing anything, right? She talked about some panel how she, for actual escorts, she did administrative work behind the scenes, right? So she did their advertising. She helped them like set up like deposits, right? Like sometimes you get deposits from
escorting
for-
is a legal service in the United States.
No, it's not. Like you're talking about full body escort, like paying for sex. That's what they're doing, right? But anyway, so she helped with all those administrative tasks that a quote unquote pimp would fall under pimping, right? But she wasn't. She just like they literally hired her to do that. So yeah, you can have a person that the law might call a pimp, but who is doing it in a consensual manner. So actually, yeah, you can do it that way. This is not a new thing.
So pimps aren't sex
I-
traffickers.
I don't
Definitely.
think that under the law, a
No,
pimp will
no.
not be
Like,
charged with
how do you?
I'm just accepting it. I was just ended it. We didn't have to go ahead and argue again.
So
I don't know
you
what
said
shit goes into
pimps
you.
aren't. No. Are you saying pimps aren't? Or
Yeah, I'm
are?
asking you. So like, pimps aren't inherently sex traffickers.
Yeah. Oh, aren't. Oh, if you're asking me, yeah, then yeah, they're not. Aren't. Yeah, they aren't.
Gotcha. Okay.
No. Okay.
It's like the madams. It's like the madams
Again,
at the
now, I
brothels.
understand what you're saying, but I when I talk about these conversations, these conversations, but in this, I'm just applying in practice. I'm saying typically.
Okay, well,
I hope
let's
you
split
wanna
that
find it
into
in
two.
practice.
Let me split that into two. My answer there. Right? One is like I don't think they are. However, I think that most prosecutors, right, like if they met a person like my friend Pep, right, and they were like a zealous prosecutor, they might call that individual a pimp, right? So even though there's no coercion involved, that doesn't mean they might not try to charge them with that in any which way, because they have this tool under the belt. And like, just because you don't necessarily fall into that doesn't mean they can't try to make the case. If you don't have a good lawyer, if you don't have a good like resources, right? If you're a poor individual, then all of a sudden, yes, you go down for pimping. You know what I'm saying?
Pimping. That ain't easy.
Yeah,
That's why pimping ain't easy.
it never is, man. You don't understand that.
I wanted to.
He's speaking from experience.
I wanted to.
No, I'm not. Shut up. Fuck.
Yeah, I wanted to make a differentiation, like basically because we kind of talked through. Well, Smooth at the position of his. Let me not put words in your mouth. You can say if I'm incorrect. You're like, you don't really care what the law may say. Like technically, what she did could have been illegal, but you're just not in the game of protecting this dude. You feel like he's a monster, so it is what it is. You ain't finna lose sleep over him.
Yeah. So that is my position on all people that are monsters in general, or do things that put yourself in a position where your life is forfeit. If you do that to where your life is you put your life in peril, you put yourself in a situation where you could potentially go to jail for the rest of your life, I'm okay with you also just not
What about
going to jail? Like you just
But
ban
before we
it.
go,
Let me fully
disagree
expand
at
it.
all.
No. So let me explain this, because I don't want to waste taxpayer dollars on somebody that's
My point.
a piece of crap. Like, dude, like, there's no reason for him to stick around. Like, why are we gonna have him in jail? Like, there's no restitution that's gonna happen. So let's just get rid of him.
But I was gonna ask you, are you Christian or no?
I don't think it matters.
that wasn't my
That
main point.
that
I was
doesn't
just
even
Don't
wondering.
gotta,
matter.
he doesn't even have to be
That doesn't
Christian.
even
Can I
matter.
I think it does matter.
But
because
that doesn't matter at all. That doesn't
Okay.
matter at all, because
say
here's the
no,
thing.
yeah.
Here's the thing. No matter what religion you read, there are some things in there that are punishable by death,
So,
and that's just a fact.
wait,
Yeah.
Smooth, can I pose a question
There's
to
a
you?
fact.
Yeah,
In all
it's
religious
Christianity.
texts, they all have crimes that are punishable by death. That is a hard fact.
I'm not aware of
That
that.
wasn't my.
that would've
I was
been
just trying to clarify Smooth point. That wasn't even my main point. I was just trying to
No.
make sure I wasn't like putting words in his mouth. So like it seems that your thing is more moral than like the how the law reads on what should happen to her from these situations. So I get that.
Yes.
I'm wondering, I want to basically take this. What's the other girl's name? I know it's Brown.
Cynthia
What's her-
Brown.
Cynthia Brown. Yes. I want to point out like the why we differentiate this from Cynthia Brown, because people might say like, oh, okay, what are the differences?
Are you trying to change my mind here or something?
No. I was about to say because you're not engaging.
But I-
I'm
but I-
just engaging with the law.
Because I
I
wanted
don't
to
like
know
the
why you were
person.
going to say it, because I was going to still stay where I'm at. Like,
Yeah, I'm not trying to move your position. I just was curious because
Okay.
I was gonna say everybody in agreement, but you're the one that's kind of not in agreement, and I was trying to figure out what your position was.
I don't.
Like,
I
I don't think he was a good
agreement on
person,
it.
but I'm talking about what the law says.
Well,
But I don't think
let
Smooth is
Bam- hold on,
disagreeing.
Bam,
I don't think because
hold on, Bam,
to me
you're
it
trying to
sounds.
make a point, right? Hold on, Bam.
Yeah.
Are we trying to make a point?
Yeah, I'm trying to make a point. Yeah, I was gonna I wanted to go to the where we differentiate between Cynthia Brown and in her case and figure out like what is it that we're valuing, because like I said, I feel differently about that case too. Cynthia Brown seems to be a person that was also sex trafficked, but it also, for her, not just was she a minor, but it seems like she also like morally didn't necessarily consent to every situation she was in with this guy. And it seemed that her situation did involve like an actual an actual fear for her life, whether that fear was justified or not. In that moment, she seemed like she legitimately feared for her life, and it didn't seem to be a emotion that was premeditated. It looked like she grabbed like his. Did she hit him in the head with something, or did she shoot him?
The
Did she
nigga
shot him with
was
a shotgun?
asleep, and it hit him from the back of the head.
Yeah, she said she thought he
nigga
was
was
moving to kill
asleep.
her.
That nigga was asleep, nigga.
That nigga flinched wrong, oh, bro. But
the
Dream,
thing
you
is-
don't know. Dream, imagine you staring over a motherfucker and then they wake up. What do you?
I'm saying the bitch could have ran away during his sleep. During his slumber.
Cause I don't. Maybe she didn't feel like taking that chance. I don't know. I feel differently about it. Do you feel the same about that case? Do you feel like she also wasn't justified?
Yeah, I already said that earlier. If it's true that she had a plausible way out, and he was asleep, and she shot him in his sleep, and it seems like, yeah, it was like a non-violent trafficking situation. Yeah, and her life wasn't in immediate danger, and she wasn't being attacked in that moment. Yes, she got what she should have gotten. She got exonerated, right? That's what happened.
No, she's done years. I
No,
think
she's
she's
still-
about to get out, but she did a
I
lot
think
of
she
years.
beat the case in 2019.
Yes,
She beat the case, but she's about to get out.
No, I'm saying like I think she got like you said. I think she got released in 2019. I think her shit was commuted or something. Like
Yeah.
nigga, she out in 2019.
She
They let her go.
did. She ended up doing a bunch of years though. It's not
Yeah,
like
that's
she
what I'm
like
saying.
didn't do anything.
her case got attention like after Me Too, and it got big attention. Then it got I think reevaluated or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, Kim
okay.
K. So look. Here's the backstory. So you know how you had Trump in the White House, and you had him with Kim K, and then Kim K was bringing cases to him, and then so he signed off on her getting exonerated. That's how that went. Like,
Yeah. he
Okay,
pardoned.
cool.
well,
Okay,
no, wait. Was it a state? If it was a state crime, then it was like Trump kind of asked. Kim K asked him. He asked the governor, and the governor. Either way it goes, like it was like this full circle of like conservative politicians that let her out. Like,
yeah, she was granted clemency in 2019. Yeah, she didn't even beat the case.
That's what, nigga. She was let go. That's what I meant when I said she beat the case.
Yeah. That's why I was confused when you said that. Anyways, what I want to bring up something, and what I'm asking is, to me, when Smooth said what he did, it sounded to me that Smooth said, emotionally, I don't give a fuck about this nigga, but morally, I don't think what she did was good. Like that's what I'm hearing.
No, not at all.
That's why I'm
No.
asking for clarification.
No, so emotionally and morally,
They're on the same page.
thank you, young lady. Like,
So-
I'm glad he's gone.
Yeah,
So
I'm
this
glad
is-
he's
this-
gone.
This is what I mean. This is what I mean by morally. Like you would be fine if this was okay by anyone to do.
Like, for people that are like him.
Yeah, for like
Yeah.
every time there's a child abuser, it's victim.
Yep.
Past.
Yeah,
like,
I would
no
I
immediate-
would prefer. I would
you're-
honestly prefer a Spartan kick into a hole.
So you're
Okay,
pro revenge. That's what I'm hearing. I'm just clarifying.
I'm not pro revenge. I'm just pro. They've ruined children's lives. They don't get them back.
Smooth. Okay,
I'm
hold on, Smooth, let me ask
heavy
you this.
anti.
Smooth. Let me ask you this: what about if
Huh?
the same things applied, right? So like he had done those things to those children, but then he got caught. Like he actually did get caught here, but he just didn't get charged. He didn't get charged fast enough, and then he died before like the DA charged him. But let's say he did get charged, and then he did go away for prison. Let's say he went to prison for 7 years, right? She found him afterwards, and like. She writes the same thing. I'm finna go get a BMW, right? She knows who this dude is. It's this person who did harm her previously, but went to jail for it. Like in that case, are you saying that
He
like,
doesn't care. He does not give an F once you touch children.
Wait,
Like,
I let you
I
have-
understand what he's saying.
Once you've done that, you're past the point of no return.
You have
for
no
me.
moral
I don't
consideration for
care.
him.
I don't care when you die.
Okay.
This is
Mhm.
why. This is why I asked if you.
Can I pose a question then?
I'm not losing. I'm not losing no sleep.
Can I pose a question? No, because here's the thing. I used to really feel that way, right? Until I grew up and I kind of realized that there's a lot of times in situations there's not perfect victims, and a lot of the most fucked up
I
people I've
don't-
ever. Hold on, let me
No,
finish
no,
what I'm
no,
saying.
no,
A lot of the most fucked up people I have ever met were that way because of another fucked up person, right? Like if this young lady, right, was to go to pick any heinous crime that you think you should die over, do you think that you'd be like, well, fuck it, I don't care?
Genocide?
So look, again, I'm gonna re-emphasize my point.
Mhm.
If you are a child sex trafficker, a child sex trafficker,
What?
I hope we could put you all on an abandoned island and nuke it.
So if that's 17,
Period.
18,
Dot.
if that's
Period,
17 or
dot.
18-year-old
But
girl,
he's talking about the child sexting victim. Come on, listen to the question.
if that 17, 18-year-old girl, right, got her friend into child sex trafficking, would you want her to die, fuck it, throw her in a Spartan hole?
Well, somebody has to be over them. Like that.
No,
that is a.
that doesn't
No,
gauge
no,
what I
no,
said.
no, no,
That
no.
doesn't
So
gauge
no,
what
no.
I just said.
You got to let me finish all the way before
Yeah,
you
he's
tell
saying
me no,
he
no, no.
considers her
I
a minor
didn't.
too.
Yeah. I consider her a minor too. Like there has to be something going on there that's more to that story. I'm not going to simply just throw the minor away too. Like I
Upgrade it to
once-
a 20-year-old.
once it's in a-
Ask the same question then. Upgrade it to a 20-year-old. Ask the same question.
So if it's a 20-year-old that trafficked a 16-year-old,
No, her. This woman we're talking about, Miss Kaiser, I think her name is. I think that's her last name. She's 20 years old, right? And she gets her friend into sex trafficking. She sex traffics her friend. I'm sorry.
that's a
Fuck,
minor. Because my whole stick
20.
is minors.
Oh, he's
I literally said
yeah,
that.
I don't know how y'all are not missing what Smooth is saying.
Smooth.
Smooth's interest is in children, like in
Yes,
children being hurt.
Don't say pause. Don't say it that way. But
No, yeah, but yeah,
Oh, God.
he doesn't want children. He doesn't want children to be hurt, and anyone who does things to hurt children lost all moral consideration.
Yeah,
to.
Yeah, no,
If
that's
she's
why I'm
20,
engaging with.
if she
That's why I'm
doesn't do
engaging
it,
This is on the
yeah.
internet.
What I'm
It's
trying to
living on the internet forever now.
hold on, that's what I'm gauging with.
God,
So if that
that's a
child
double
became a slightly older child, because Smooth, do you think that a 20-year-old is like a grown, is as smart as they'll be? They're grown, they're not a kid anymore. 20 now.
Like
sure
I'm saying,
Uh-huh.
God, you're gonna repeat
and
the
I'm
same
going
thing.
to say this in plain
No.
English.
Smooth,
Go ahead, Prime.
Smooth. I just got because I know what you're about to say because you've been saying the same thing, right? But you're not actually engaging with what Sosa was doing. So I'm going to use your original example. I'm not even taking the 20-year-olds old, right? Like, okay, so we have. I'm going to create a victim, right? So there is a 34-year-old white cop, right? And he's going around and he's abusing a young black girls, right? So he picks a girl. She's 12 years old, right? From some shitty house, and then he grooms her and he assaults her, he traffics her. So he's like one of those awful people. You would say that cop, right? He needs to be offed, right? Like right? Okay.
Yeah, he can go away.
Okay, he can go away. Indeed. All right. So that 12-year-old is now damaged, right? That's what Solis is talking about. He's talking about damaged people. That 12-year-old becomes like a 17-year-old. And that 17-year-old, that damaged person, the thing that they understand, like how to make money, is by like using their own body. And so they have like a sister or cousin, right? And that cousin is like 14-year-old. And that 17-year-old girl that abuse victim like gets her younger sibling into sex, right? Traffics her. Now that that 17-year-old is trafficking a 14-year-old. So does your same rule apply? Are you saying that 17-year-old is morally equivalent, right? The one who was abused by that older man, is that 17-year-old girl morally equivalent to that older man?
No.
No, why not?
No, they are not.
Why not?
Because again, that child is still a victim in some capacity. And they're not
Still a child.
yeah, they're still a child. So there's still like even though that child did wrong because that's all that child knew. So there's still we still got we got room to like
what if she
we got
becomes
room
18?
to fix this.
Well, then next year she's still trafficking. She's trafficking another victim.
Like if your goal in this argument is to get me to a point where I'm like, oh yeah, like let's do away with this kid. Let's just say this kid is now 30, right?
Uh-huh.
Like this child is now 30.
Okay.
That child has now been an adult long enough. Well, I'll move it down. I'll move it down.
20 almost?
Hey.
Like somebody gave that as an
No,
example?
no, no. So hold on. So look, if the kid is now, let's say, 22, okay, 22 years of age, right? If you're now at 22, still doing that, still committing that same crime, you have a serious problem. And if something happened to you, I'm not gonna sit there and defend it. Like, I'm not gonna defend it. I'm not. At 22.
At 22, that's where you draw the line. So 21, 20, 19, cool.
That's
Because-
cool, but he
because
would
that-
say that person can still grow. But at 22, he's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, you had your chance. It is
You
what
had
it
like
is.
four-
I
you
know
got
you're a
like
victim.
4
I know you had
years.
life happen to you."
But I
You
feel like
got 4
chance
years to
doesn't
get your
come with
life
just
together.
time. That comes with opportunity, right? Because you could be void of education, void of the opportunity to tell someone teaching you
I
better.
think his smooth
Even-
position is probably most people's position. Like, it's not
Yeah, I
the,
know.
like, he's not the
It's
crazy
yeah,
one.
like
here.
people
His
are
position is the most
asking me
common
like
position.
I'm just like some horrible person that wants like regular people to just die. Like, I don't care about the rule of law. Like, no, like obviously like the court system has to work itself out for most things, but I'm saying like these people, if it happens, I don't care.
Yeah, at a
Like, you're not
certain
gonna
point, you had a rough
you're not gonna
childhood,
catch me
can't matter
outside with a
anymore.
picket.
What I'm
Yeah,
saying,
I'm not coming at you like a horrible person. I'm trying to engage with you on a concept that I've learned in my life where like I used to believe in a vitriolic hate of people that did fucked up things until I grew up and realized a lot of people that do fucked up things were fucked up at one point in time and no one cared. So I get it. Fuck them. I if anyone understands the lynch mob, I get it. But that mentality, that coldness, that fuck 'em way of looking at people, for me anyway, it tends to need to be edited when I think, oh shit, what happened to you for you to become this way? Right.
when you realize it's nobody's fault for what they do, then you become way more empathetic for their cause. Like, I'm not gonna fault somebody that obviously is the only way that they are the way they are is because of their fucked up past. And so like it's a collective responsibility as a society. I'm not saying don't punish them, but I'm also saying I don't think they deserve to die.
I don't know about that.
Mhm.
I would say that there's a difference between. I think we can hold people accountable for the actions they take for things they do.
That's what I
think
just said.
yeah, but you were saying that you don't know if you would. Well,
That's
actually,
not
it
what I
doesn't matter.
said.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Yeah, I promise it don't. I think that it's okay to hold people accountable for the things that they do, but I've moved. Well, I moved my position. Like, I was the person that, like, when I was young, I was like, oh yeah, pedophiles, get them out of here. I wish they would just stab them twice, 100 times. Like, that was me. And then I realized like that probably actually doesn't do a good job of protecting children. And it probably doesn't do a good job of like protecting people who probably didn't choose to be the way that they are. Like I said, now it's one thing there's people who touch children.
Unless you're a black. What
Huh?
are they talk? Okay.
Oh yeah.
Who?
No,
Was somebody? No. Was somebody in chat
please.
talking for me? Like
I
what?
don't
What
know.
is going on? Like,
I
I
don't know.
don't know, my nigga. I
Unless
was
yeah,
they
just
like-
fine
I-
to Emily.
my only
They can't
point
be held to
is
account for their actions.
my only
Um,
point is that a lot of times victimizers were once victims, and I think if you ever want to solve the problem, you have to gauge with that healthily. And though it feels good to give into the lynch mob mentality, that I think that strips you of the empathy you need to do something about that kind of thing. And I've learned this as being a nigga from the South Side of Chicago whose friends are not. I love a lot of niggas that are not the people, but I gauge with them in the fact that, like, okay, I understand how you got here, right?
Yeah,
if I ever run
so-
across, if I ever run across another version of you, I have to engage with this in an empathetic way. I can't just be like, "Fuck you, die," right?
Just because you
you're
understand it
so
doesn't mean
listen.
that
no,
you
no, not just
like,
because I understand it,
excuse
but like you got to understand, right? The sympathy, that person you see that is a victim that you feel so much sympathy for, that you think they deserve so much retribution for, you should understand, engage with them, that that person could victimize somebody. Now what? How are you going to look at that
Yeah,
situation?
but I'm saying just because you
So,
understand
no,
that doesn't
that's-
like you can understand that people come from a background. And in my bad move, you can go right after this. Just because you understand that somebody comes from a background doesn't excuse the behaviors that they expose. A lot of people have had tough.
I'm not excusing niggas.
and-
I'm not saying
okay,
that.
let me use a better word then. Just like once it happens, like. Even if you can make an account for that can be account for like solving problems, but that shouldn't be an account for like for like dealing with human beings that have done wrong things. Like a lot again with pedophilia, a lot of people who are pedophiles or abused as children. That's a legitimate thing. Like, but and we should help engage with those people. Like help engage with those people in a healthy manner if they come looking for help and they haven't actually done anything. That doesn't mean that once somebody's touched some kids that like, you know what I'm saying, does something to hurt children, that we now say that like, oh, but you probably had a rough childhood. That conversation should have happened before. Like we should engage with that. The conversation you're having is correct, but we engage with that as a preventative measure. It's not a after it's the damage is done. It's weird to account for that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like R. Kelly when he said, "Oh, this happened to me by my mom," and da 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 da. Like at this point in your life, bro, like I'm out of sympathy. Like, bro was like, "Oh, I don't know how to." Yeah, I'm like, yeah. He's like, "I don't know how to read. I've never read any of my contracts." I don't care.
Right.
Like, bro, you're a grown.
That sounds like
you're
bullshit. But okay.
No, that's what he said. That's what he said. I'm just telling you what he said.
It sounds like bullshit.
Okay, yeah. But my thing is like, if you're an adult, once as an adult and you have free will, like you have the responsibility to make self-improvement decisions. You clearly decided to self-improve on your artwork. You decided to improve on your ability to do things, you know, like be an artist and all that, but you decided not to become a better human being. You know what I'm saying? You decided not to invest in things morally good for you or structurally good for you, like being able to read. Like I don't care what happened to you. Like I at that point in your life, like, because you've made systemic choices that shows you have total disregard.
Never learned to read? That sounds like, oh my god, sounds like such bullshit. But okay, it is what it is. It's fucking 50. Like, okay, whatever. Well, we're gonna have to move past that. And did he also say his mom touched him or something? Is that what he said?
Yeah,
he did.
It's a very, you should read it. It's a very fucked up, disgusting story.
Okay.
Yeah, it is. It is, and I'm not gonna hold him. I'm not gonna hold him. Like, it's a bad story. However, that doesn't justify you doing what you did.
He
all
had
them
a whole
years.
empire of.
You know what?
I think there's a.
Hold on, check this out.
We have to
Smoop,
change
Smoop,
our
it
words.
doesn't at all. Smoop, it doesn't at all in no way justify. But I remember having a conversation with somebody about that exact thing. Right, and that was probably one of the instances in my life where I like gauge with trying to be empathetic with somebody I hope gets thrown into a Spartan hole, like you said. And I felt for a second, I was like, the way I don't give a fuck about what you've gone through to do this is probably the reason you got here. Right. You should give a fuck about what people have gone through. Lynch them if you want to. I'm not saying don't do that. I'm not saying what anybody does, but that triggery, like, I don't give a fuck what you've been through. That's how they got here. The reason R. Kelly ended up being R. Kelly is because no one gave a fuck what he went through. Nope, niggas just, well, nah, I don't give a shit. And like we were saying earlier, I get it, you saying he's a grown man, but bro, it don't start as a grown man. Niggas don't give a fuck when you 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Like, that lack of empathy, I don't think that's healthy, because I truly think.
Fam, listen. If you are, I'm gonna make this example super simple. If you are somebody that's stealing, right? Even if it's for survival, like, bro, I fools with you. I understand you gotta eat. However, that doesn't make it right.
No one's saying it.
No. But what I'm saying is, I'm gonna empathize with you as far as like, yeah, your situation is messed up, and we should try and get you some resources, but to help you, but you're gonna have to pay for your crime.
I don't know.
You know what I'm saying?
I could walk you down a rabbit hole and get you to admit there's a point in time where you could.
Yeah,
steal,
I was gonna say,
and it's completely moral.
I think it's okay.
But it probably wouldn't be. I'm about to say, but he probably wouldn't move that on children being touched. I'm about to say, you could probably get them there on stealing.
Yeah. But I know I was just using it as a modern example of somebody like where they did something. Yeah. And let's just say it wasn't food. Like, let's say it was something like arbitrary, like a TV. Like, you don't need a TV. You know what I mean?
You can say you can sell it for money.
Dream, go ahead, and then you can.
This nigga Bam.
Bruh, God.
So I was gonna say, like, I think we should, like, I don't know. This is just super philosophical, so I don't know if you guys will even like this shit. But this is just an objectively correct take. Just for the ones that are interested.
Okay.
But you could change your vocabulary to represent the accuracy of what actually happened. So you could say that I'm going to hold somebody accountable, or I'm going to remove somebody from society because they're a danger to society, and that's just what's best for society overall. But at the same time, you can also say I'm not going to blame them for why they are what they are, because because if you were to be in their exact shoes, you would do exactly what they would do. And the reason that
No,
you
I
would do
wouldn't.
and the reason you
No.
would do and the reason you would do that is because the only thing that there's two factors between people's behaviors: biology and environment. And if you don't choose your biology and you don't choose your environment, that means what you do is out of your control, because everything that's influencing you is due to your biology and due to your environment. So if you had the same biology as the other person, which of course, it's really hard for you to imagine that. And if you had the same environment, which is easier to imagine, you would absolutely do the same thing that they would do, because there's no other way not to do them. Because the only way they have their own, because people make decisions from their personality. How's their personality formed? It's either formed at birth or through environment. And if you had the same exact biology and environment, tell me why you would make a different choice.
Listen,
I'll
listen.
tell you
Look
I've
at that nigga prime face, bro.
I mean, Dream. I'll tell you why. Not that I enjoy sob stories or any bullcrap like that, but similar situation happened to me when I was a child in first grade. Encountered somebody that sexually abused me when I was a child, and I grew up in that environment. I grew up in an environment where
That has nothing to do with what I'm saying.
Where teachers.
You got to let him finish.
Jesus Christ!
This man is being vulnerable, and you talking about some. That's not what you were talking about. Like, that's crazy, bro. That's actually crazy.
You grow up in
Go
an
ahead,
environment.
Paige.
You deal with this type of thing. But the fact is, you know, she goes to school just like I went to school. I had different environments outside of the environment that I grew up in, where I was learning what's right and what's wrong. And you learn those things in school. Like it's not like her only environment is with this guy that has abused her. And when she gets up to a certain age and goes to, as Bam says, not Bam, Smooth says, 20, and wants to continue doing the sex traffic game, at that point in time, you have learned enough information. If you are a child in America, you have learned enough information to know what's right from wrong. And at that point, you are a product of your own situation by your own choice, because you haven't made a choice or a decision to improve your life. Just like Bam said with R. Kelly, you have made the decision not to improve your life or change and remove yourself from situations that harmed you, and now you're going to enact the same harm to other people. And that choice becomes yours at that point.
No, because whatever yours means, what I'm trying to say is, if you were in the same exact scenario and with the exact same biology, you would make the same exact decisions. And the only kind of argument you gave is, well, I was in a similar scenario. Yeah, but guess what? You didn't have the same biology. So
I feel like if you could move both of those things, you're just becoming that person. Like, that means this is so meaningless.
Bro,
if I put you in their life with their biology, you're saying if I was literally them.
Yes, exactly.
Dream. What you're saying doesn't even work with identical twins.
They're not the same. They don't have the same experience, okay?
Okay.
Bro, they have the same biology. Your argument was biology. They are the same on fundamentals.
But they don't have the same environment.
Yeah, you're saying they're not the exact same person. But I'm saying that, like, if you were the exact same person
would do the exact
you would by
same thing.
definition have to do the exact same thing. But
No,
I'm not me anymore. I'm
Look,
That's ridiculous.
Even twins get treated differently. That's why what you're saying is so weird to engage in. It's like, if you were them, this is why I said this is the objectively philosophical point of view that I don't think most of you were interested in. So this is just for the people that want to
I get exactly what he's saying. No, it is technically objectively saying, well, if they did them, you do it. But like,
it really isn't, because what that.
I'm not saying it is. It's a kind of a meta argument, but I get where the nigga's coming from.
It's not even an argument.
I'm trying to say there is no free will. That's essentially what I'm saying. There's no free will.
What do you mean there's no free will?
There's no free will.
If there's no
Okay,
free will,
hey,
what's the
okay,
purpose
I
of
gotta
you
go.
doing
Okay,
anything at
yeah,
all?
we're
in
not gonna,
life?
we're not gonna just, there's not gonna point.
Not
come
having
down
free
this-
will doesn't mean you don't get punished for what you do.
Okay,
It
all
just
right.
means you don't get blamed for what you do.
Thanks all.
Technically, nobody could be held accountable because nobody has free will. Therefore,
Oh
we're
my
all.
God,
would y'all
we're
let this
all
nigga
going
Prime
to a
wrap it up for the
weird
love of
world.
God? Please let this
Going to
nigga
a weirder
Prime
world.
wrap
It's
it.
crazy.
I just
Okay.
explained that you can get
Moving
punished.
on.
for
Okay.
All right,
So
all right,
I
God damn.
thank my man. I thank Bam for being here. Solus, DeAndre, Don, D10 Dream, Smooth, all for being here. Unfortunately, our friend DQ couldn't stick around. She had technical difficulties. Guys, if you like this content, consider supporting the content so we can have more of the content. If you don't support the content, we can't do more of the content. So, sub to the channel, give bits or give subs. Thanks for the few people who helped out today. But yeah, so I am going to I guess I'll send you guys out. But yeah, do consider helping out. Oh yeah, if you have Amazon Prime, just Prime Gaming, help us out there. We'll be back on Monday probably, and we'll have something great for you to talk about.
Dream, what was women in the 1600s? What number would they be on average?
What?
I don't know. I don't know those women.
Wait, what? I'm confused.
This is from the conversation last week. I was reading his name, other types of scales.